live again. We're live again. Actually, while we're live, I should probably edit down the live stream from a couple days ago because I'm sure it's just like a couple minutes of me just rambling for a minute and then getting into the show. But once we've done that, and I'm gonna just kind of where's my chat? Where's my little chat? I have my chat down here, and let me just move this a little bit, and then we'll wait till some people get in. Let me close that. I don't know why that always opens. Let's go on, Andor. Today we are unboxing this guy. We'll let some people fall in. Actually, you know what? I have a Discord too that I should probably message. Shield Team 6. Yeah, let's go. You know what's actually hilarious, and I just came to the realization. Everybody that is like, I guess, in Shield Team 6, which is funny because it's just a joke and I made it up a long time ago. Everyone's a person of color, which is hilarious. Also, there's a lot of people suddenly in here. What just happened? Andrew, what's going on, boss? Have you not unboxed this camera like 6 times? No, Rhett, I have not unboxed the Pixis 12K, but I did unbox a Canon C50 like 2 days ago. The Canon C50 is a loaner camera. Just if anybody tries to like throw that out of context, I only have the Canon C50 until next Friday. But they gave it to me in a fresh box, so I got to do that. What's going on, Calvin? Hey, Mac Chaudhry. Mac Chaudhry is also a new channel member. I actually have the channel members, so if you guys want, like, especially with the FX3 C50 video, I'm going to release some of the side-by-side images for you guys to mess around with, but that's only going to be for the OG members. Now, I might lower the price of the OG members, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to at least, like, give the guys that started OG a little bit more because, obviously, they paid more. But I will have raw footage in there as well. Sean, what's going on? Kofi, I'm sorry. What happened to your filter and FX3 footage? Yeah, so where is that Angel Bird card? Because I got to make sure I never use that thing again. Frig, did I put it? I might have mixed it back in my other cards. But yeah, I took the C50 out yesterday. One of my buddies is competing in High Rocks Toronto this weekend, so we decided to film some stuff. And I wanted to film more motion on the C50 because that's A, that's what they like, and B, I like doing it. It's dynamic. But we did some stuff beside the FX3. Put the card in the FX3. Everything was fine. Everything was recording. Somewhere down the line, like we kind of turned the camera off, left it kind of on the desk, and then I tried putting the card in, and it stopped working. Right, so the card doesn't work, won't recognize. Scanning the card doesn't work, like a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's kind of rough. So we're all just kind of. I got to shoot it all again. So thank you. There was someone on Instagram that actually, and I'm not gonna put his, unless he's in the chat, I won't put his name out there if he doesn't want to be mentioned. But I borrow his camera tomorrow, so I'll reshoot a bunch of FX3 C50 stuff tomorrow morning. That video won't be out until next Monday, C50 versus the FX3. But my C50 first video will be out on Friday, not Thursday, because I had 3 hours of sleep and I got cooked when I got home, and I couldn't move. So hell's way on the Pixis 12K. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. Let's see how many. There's a lot of people coming in here. Made from Java, what up? Let's go, Azrael. I pre-ordered the EF mount. Am I cooked? I think I should cancel my pre-order and go to PL mount. Your thoughts? I like having the L mount because the L mount can adapt to PL and EF, whereas the PL and EF can't adapt to anything. So you're pretty locked into your system there without being able to adapt. I think EF can adapt to some stuff, but what's going on, Talbot? Talbot, do you know when your ZR is coming? Because I'm also waiting for mine. Excited to receive my PL version. Let's go. You get the electronic contacts too. So if you have the, I did a video on the Vespa 2s yesterday. Tilta has another Focus Pro thing like Viltrox does. I don't know too much information, but it does look like it uses some of the eye data possibly. The Vespa 2s, I think, are the cheapest lenses that have the eye data contacts. So if you have a PL version Pixis 12K, it might actually work to be able to get autofocus on those lenses. I just hit 405 squat now doing kettlebells while being jealous watching your Pixis. Damn, hitting a 405 squat's wild. My hamstring would tear again, which I get to go to physio soon and get that fixed because I want to train again. Seeing everyone compete in High Rocks, I want to try it maybe. Hey, we start off strong with a super chat. Mac Chaudhry, thank you again, bro. Thanks for all the content lately. Oh, thank you, man. Um, I've posted, I think in 2 weeks, I've posted 9 videos, which is a lot. And now that I look at it, and now that I think about it, but I got a lot of stuff to say. So, bro, keep doing great. Hey, thank you, Jacob. Hey, if I ever see you in person, I'll let you hold $2. Ibrahima, what's going on, boss? You're uh you would love the shoot that we did today, man. We did a robot arm shoot with Roheezy in Toronto. I don't know if you know him, but we did it on the C50 because what I wanted to do was prove that the IBIS in the C50 not being there isn't a hindrance, especially when doing like car mounted or robot stuff. And it worked really friggin' yet. Worked really friggin' great. Sorry, I read someone say yet while I was saying that. I feel like I've already seen you do this. What the fuck? No, I haven't. I unboxed the C50. Why does everyone think I unboxed a Pixis 12K? It only came out today. Oh, you wish you know. I think it's the 20th. Okay, that's not bad. Already unboxed or not yet? No, 10/21. It is right here. So Pixis 12K is already here. I don't know why people think I've opened this already. I literally got it today. What's going on, Michael? We are going to talk cameras today because this is honestly talking about cameras when I've like done my work already is actually kind of relieving. I still do other work like outside of it, but like after that, I don't feel like talking about work. Talking about business all day is kind of boring. My man, I'm still waiting on mine. I think it should get to you guys soon. I think a bunch of people all over the place are getting them now. What do I have to do to get on fun shoots? I have to remember to ask people for help. Oh, that confused with the other. Yeah, so I have an Ursa 12K that I unboxed, and that was at Brandon Talbot's house. This is a completely different camera. We have Yaskawa and Shadowland Robot at work. Oh, okay, I kind of want to strap a camera to it. Man, it was so fun. I will say though, and some people that own FX3s are going to get mad when we put the FX3 on it. I mean, we turned the IBIS off. You can see the little like sensor vibration as you're moving the arm, which like really threw me off because for product shots that wouldn't fly. We'd love to know if you can get a side grip to start stop work like small rig. I'm trying to work with them right now to actually get some accessories for the Blackmagic Pixis. Are you still shooting things just for clients shooting just for clients? Or now your work is all towards YouTube and creating content? It's still both. I pick and choose. So like, for example, I have a commercial brief that I have to make tonight for a supplement company because they're doing a rebrand. And that's like, it's a good budget. It's like a 4-day shoot. I have a retainer client that just signed back up again for a year. So I still have like client work that I like keeping. And what's nice about like fitness companies is that they understand behind the scenes stuff. So they don't mind if I make content out of some of the shoots as long as I get the stuff that I need for the shoot done. I got mine last week Friday, but haven't got any parts yet. Waiting on the cage. Yeah, same. I'm actually trying to get Small Rig to make custom cages for the Pixis. Just want to say, as a Senegalese, I tried the jollof rice, and it's really good, but not as good as the original. Our jollof is called thieb. Hey, you know what? We ain't having no jollof rice conversations today. So, but yeah, no, I'm a lover of all jollof. I just think Ghanaian is better. By the way, I shot one music video for Beast Trap and BTS is on the way. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. When you guys are shooting projects, man, like if you could just like sit there, yap about it, play some BTS, man, that's the makings of a YouTube channel. And you get so much out of it after doing it over a while. Man, we're not mad at all if it's better. We're spoiled. We're spoiled. We're spoiled. Touchy subject. Do you think the overhyping of cameras by YouTubers hurts the normal consumer working as a pro? If you let it, like new cameras are going to come out and the people that have access to them are going to be excited because some of the people that are looking for those cameras are also going to be excited. So if you're a normal working pro and it hurts you to see new cameras come out, personally, I would say if you're on a diet, I wouldn't watch the Food Network. Like personally for me, and I don't even mean that maliciously. But like for somebody that started off with like not a lot of stuff and gets to talk about this other stuff and also wanted to see somebody that looked like me talk about this stuff, I don't necessarily I was just talking about this. Like, I don't necessarily feel like I should apologize for that. The overhyping, I think, just there's general excitement around technology because every single camera release is not a conversation that only invites pros, and I think the professional community needs to understand that it's as much as we like, and I'm guilty of it too. When new cameras come out, we don't need to insert ourselves into every single conversation about cameras. Um, but no, it's not a touchy subject at all. I just don't. I get it. There's a lot of cameras and it can get overwhelming, but then I would like with YouTube, you could just decide not to watch it and it's fine. I don't know what a McDonald's Big Mac tastes like, and I never will because I choose not to eat them. My boy, what's good? That's not a pause, bro. The Ursa is a pixel machine gun, though. Excited. The Pixis. What's new? I think it's going to be very much like the Ursa, and I have a documentary shoot that's a dual cam interview. And basically, what I wanted to do is I wanted to use the Pixis and the Ursa because this is like I mentioned this in the last stream. There are cameras that I'm excited for me, and there's cameras that I'm excited for you. The C50, I'm excited for you guys because there's people out there, and I was just like my BTS guy that was helping me out yesterday has an R6 too. And he was talking about getting a video-centric camera body and didn't want to have to switch to an FX3. And I'm like, oh, well, the C50 makes perfect sense then. You know, because you don't have to change systems and you're already used to all the other things like working with no in-body stabilization. You already have stabilized lens. Like you already have that stuff. So the reason why some of these videos are being made are for those people. Like I think, again, there's more to the world. When are you getting this new Sony 100mm macro for testing? I actually won't. I don't think I will. No one asked me to, so. Kofi, I know it's a BM stream, but do you have thoughts on N-Log versus other log codecs? Is the ZR going to be hindered by their log codec being not as good as the others? I doubt it. I think it's going to be pretty strong. Here's the thing, like a lot of us only got such a really we got a really small window of time with the Nikon ZR, so it's hard to like look at a raw profile without side by sides and be like, this is better or worse than NRAW or whatever the case is. I think the easiest thing you could do is like when I look at it, you could tell, but you look at it and you're able to determine that. But for the most part, like me and Cam were talking about this yesterday, like every camera has become so good where it's just like the other stuff outside of image quality that's become good. I promise I'm going to get to the unboxing. I'm going to catch up on these chats and then we'll get up. Would you leave the S52X for the S12 for the Canon, or the S12 for the, or sorry, or the S12 for the Canon C50 for documentary and music videos? I wouldn't sell an S12 to get a Canon C50, to be honest with you, because I think a lot of the needs that I think you're trying to fill are probably going to be filled on the S12 versus a Canon C50. I do like the audio top handle on the C50. It's really balanced, and there's a couple other things that are nice, but unless you need some of like their higher quality features, like using the raw stuff in there. Also, the C50 does shoot a 10-bit 422 open gate. I'll talk about that in the video on Friday, but I think there's a couple of missing pieces of information on the open gate on the C50 that I don't think a lot of people covered. Hey, what's going on, Tyler? Tyler in the building. I still got to figure out a way to get to Carolina and go and shoot with Tyler. Got my Ursa 12K in, hoping the Pixis gets in before the dock project I'm working on. That was me too. Like I think getting a tear in my hamstring was probably, and honestly, it's a super minor tear. We're actually like update. We're almost healed. But I got a 2cam interview really soon, and I was really hoping to get this before. How many unboxings on camera mic? This is the second one. No, third. This is only the third one of this year. The Ursa was in July. It's October. Then there was the C50. The C50 is a loaner camera. I'm going to say it again. The C50 is a loaner camera. We unboxed it to give some first impressions. It's not my camera. But the Pixis is mine, so. Did you get the Compex yet? I haven't got it yet. I'm still waiting for it to get in, and won't get it until Friday. Sorry, Saturday. Dude, we got direct air from Canada flights in Toronto. I know that, Tyler. It's not the flight part. It's time. I don't have time. I need more than 24 hours in a day. That's what I need. I guess OpenGate is the thing right now. I wouldn't even call it like the thing. It's I made this analogy a little bit ago, and this is before I open up the box. If I owed you money, sorry, and I gave you more money than I owed you, you wouldn't give me the money back. And that's kind of how OpenGate works, because most of the OpenGate cameras shoot all the other normal modes and OpenGate. So I think with the idea is, and also all of the OpenGate cameras in their like competitive category are cheaper than the cameras that don't in a lot of situations. So I think what the argument is now is people are like, oh, well, like, why am I paying more money for less thing if I could just get the more thing somewhere else? So finally, time I got projects. Hey, maybe in November, because October I'm gonna post as much as I can so I could see if the compounding interest helps out for the rest of the year. Ben showing for that C50 live stream with an R5C made the unboxing fun. Ben is actually going to be so. Last thing I'll say, and I'll open this box, and I'll start opening it now. One of the things I want to do on this channel is I want to bring in my other friends that are also professionals in the space. Not because I want some sort of like, not as like a credibility thing, just because it's fun when you're doing stuff with other people. So my other friend Kyle, who looks, if you could imagine what it would look like if me and Cam did the fusion dance and we're the same person, it's my friend Kyle. Because me and Kyle look alike, but he dresses like Cam. It's really weird. It's pretty fun. But we are actually going to be doing the FX3 versus C50 stuff to Friday, and we're going to start shooting some of that. So as I open this box, I'll be answering chats because I don't like being behind on chats. It makes me feel uncomfortable. Sean Laporta Photography, that's where I'm at. I'm looking for the C50, but I know I'm going to pay more for power that I'm just not going to use. I wish Canon came out with a $2,000 video camera like Nikon did, basically an R6V with IBIS. Never say never, they might, if there's enough demand. When do you expect the Pixis released, a first building Pixis 12K, and what do you think it would be about? I am going to try to make a commitment here where I'm not going to try to speed out and be the first person to make a Pixis 12K video, because already they exist. I'm going to try to be the best person to make the Pixis 12K video. So whenever I feel as though I have enough footage that's the best that I can make with it, then that's when I'll use it. Do you think ever going to add autofocus to the latest Blackmagic cameras? Do you think that there's another camera that has image quality for the price of Blackmagic cameras? In my opinion, the closest is like, honestly, maybe the Nikon ZR has really good image quality, but also has autofocus, but also doesn't have OpenGate and anamorphic support and stuff. So that would be the closest on like image in terms of being like cheap and having autofocus, but not. I don't know, actually. That may take more research. I don't know the answer. Get out here then, PT. It's cool, Tyler. I just sit here in Utah with all the time on my hands, and I won't die in the heat and humidity like the guy from Toronto would. Guys, like, going through the desert from being from Canada, that's not nice, and that's not fair. Once my Pixis 12K dies, I'm looking for the Pixis 12K. I'm looking forward to what you make with it. There's a lot. There's 2 documentaries, a couple music videos. After the robot arm, also normal stuff that comes into the DaVinci Resolve. I have another DaVinci Resolve key, and maybe we'll give it away on the channel one day. I also, this is like a little side play that's on here. The unboxing experience is very much like the original Pixis. I just don't think I unboxed it on a video, to be honest with you. We're gonna do that last. We're gonna do the Pixis last. We're gonna do Pixis 12K last. So this guy here is just gonna be all like the chargers and stuff, which is weird because a camera that was more expensive, didn't have a charger when we opened up that Ursa 12K. And also, I'm going to do a little bit of explaining on where we are going to stand with cameras on this channel, because I will be completely honest with you. I'm run out. I don't need to buy any other cameras. I think for the most part, a lot of things are going to be for you guys. My production kit, I'm trying to round out with this Pixis 12K and call it a day. And I hope that I can maintain what I just said there, because sometimes I say things and then I change my mind later. But I think for the most part, like, I'm pretty good on cameras I need for my own personal work, but I do like trying new stuff. It's really fun. Let me see here. Can you give me a pronunciation? I get really upset when people mispronounce my name, and I don't want to mispronounce yours. But yes, the Blackmagic raw files are very big files. Also, I'm trying to find the proper plug for my for my charger, or the wall adapter. I'd really like to shoot with an Ursa 12K so much. Unique tech in one camera. Michael, if you are in the Toronto area, I'm going to finish kitting out the Ursa, and I may actually have it in the rental shop for people to rent out, because I think for my 2-cam stuff, for any corporate stuff, I'll take my camera out, and then I'll take my Ursa out, and then if I need like a 2-cam or I need like a handheld body, I'm going to bring the Pixis. But I don't necessarily need the Ursa every single time, and I think it would be kind of cool to rent it out to other filmmakers in the space. As long as you have reputable insurance, then I don't mind renting it out to people. So yeah, when I got the Ursa, I also just knew I had to order a charger and PL mount. Yeah, so the Ursa is great. The body only is relatively affordable. When you buy all the other stuff, that's where I'm like, okay. It's still a pricier camera. Like, when it's all said and done, it's not going to be cheap. It's cheaper than other cameras in the same spec. Like, it's definitely cheaper than like a Sony Burano or something like that, for example. And it kind of operates in similar space sans autofocus. So they actually, well, what do you know? They give you a Pixis charger that doesn't open very well. Oh, no, that's why. I got to put this in it. There you go. That's the charger. We're going to need this because we're going to turn this guy on today, and it'll actually turn on, which will be great. But I know you guys are waiting for this. Oh, this actually feels kind of different, but it's the same camera. I know it is. But we got this guy. Pixis 12K. Oh, come on, focus. There you go. Pixis 12K is here. I'm going to do this. Hopefully I don't get dust on it. That full frame L mount that I'm going to immediately put on my Typoc Samara C's on. All of the body design stuff, like, it looks exactly the same. Like, this is just, it feels like it's just the same Pixis. But I'm gonna set this guy up. I'm gonna set up like more of a smaller running gun camera, because I want to kind of keep it as like a handheld, so sort of like how people rock the Komodo. But also hang on a second. Let me see if I can get this. Let me see if I can get this. Let me see if I can get this. Come on, let me focus in. Come on. Give me. Hang on a second. All right, there you go. We're good. Seal's broken. We're good to go. Okay, so yeah, Pixis 12K. I guess now you could ask me anything. I don't really know, but I want to talk about a little bit of workflow thing. So not necessarily for example, kind of where I'm sitting at right now. Somebody asked it already too. I think somebody asked something about everything being L mount. So your whole kit going to be L mount cameras? No. I did get the ZR, and I did get the ZR for a very particular reason that is outside of myself. And as I was talking about, like, I'm excited for cameras for you guys. And I think similar to the FX30 when it came out. Oh, also, they didn't give you an Allen key for this. I want to put on the little SSD part. There's no Allen key. Okay, well, I guess we'll just keep the other thing on there. There are certain cameras that I'm excited for the audience, and I like being able to have like access to stuff, and also like doing YouTube pretty much like 85% full time. I have the time to kind of flesh out a lot of things a lot quicker than a normal person would. Also, I post a lot of videos, and I could turn over really quickly. So it makes it the same way that the FX3 was exciting for me to share that knowledge for people that like couldn't afford the FX30. It made me kind of excited to like be able to share certain knowledge and experiences using the FX30. I want to treat the ZR the same way, because I think it's a good entry point for a lot of people. So essentially what I'm doing is the same way that I treated the FX30 content, I want to do with the Nikon ZR. So I picked up one of those guys. But in that same vein, like my camera kit, like the cameras for my personal kit are going to be the Ursa and the Pixis 12K. The Ursa sometimes is just too big to lug around all over the place. And also after injuring myself, I'm going to be a bit more cognizant of not trying to be Superman. So this guy is definitely going to be a daily driver camera. For me, at least. And then that way I can do a lot of stuff on here. At some point, I have to just like dip out and take the top handle off my Ursa so I could get a little thing on here. But let's add some more cameras. So time to hit that up. Pre-ordered Oh, you pre-ordered the C50, so looking forward to your inside of the C50. I mean, short answer, it's a great camera. Short answer, it's very great. It's useful. There's a lot of good features on it. After putting into a couple situations where IBIS would have been a hindrance, I could understand why they don't have IBIS. Rene Louis. Rene wait. Rene Le is Sotho name, but I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm gonna try to practice that. Rene Louis. Rene Louis. Also, Justin Porter texted me like 15 times. That's why my phone went off. I get the feeling the Pixis 12K price will drop by next sometime. Yeah, Blackmagic has sales. Cameras go on sale. Blackmagic does a lot. So again, doing stuff on this isn't a bid to buy the camera now. And that, I think sometimes it's like Lumix does this too, right? Like Lumix will have a camera out, then they'll go on sale soon after. The idea for these videos isn't I need you to buy them now. And actually, this is what I will say. Most YouTubers don't necessarily benefit as much as you buying the camera as they do making a good video. And that sounds counterintuitive, but it makes a lot of sense in the end. So the idea is if I make good videos that you want to watch and there's a lot of engagement, it's there's good views on it, there is more financial benefit to me making a good video that you want to watch that's informative and valuable than it is how many cameras you buy. Because most creators are going to get 2%, maybe 2% to 5%, and 5% is like the very, very small percentage of people getting 5%. And at least for me, I've never done enough affiliates on a Pixis or any other camera that's even made up the cost of one camera. But what I have done is I've delivered enough value where the views from that are leverageable into other things. So the idea isn't necessarily to buy it now. So it going on sale, perfect. Means more people will have it, and that means there's more people that'll watch my stuff. But the overall value and how it delivers to the audience is far more important from not only a creator standpoint, but also a financial one. So I think when new cameras come out, the idea isn't to trick you into buying one, but it's to make a video that you'll watch. If I knew how to use DaVinci Resolve, I totally get the Pixis 12K. That camera rips. I'm gonna have so much fun with this. Is it really a value between 6K and 12K? Yes. The 12K has faster readout times and obviously more resolution and a different sensor. Actually, yeah, no, different sensor. It's going to use the RGB-WW. Team 2 Films. I'm going to say it again. Team 2 Films has made a really, really good video explaining the sensor tech. If you guys like downsampled cameras, then and you guys use downsampled cameras, they explain it really, really well, and how some other downsampled cameras are a little more inefficient, and how the Pixis 12K actually works. So, also, I didn't realize this, and it's a super random observation, but the Pixis 12K has like a little outline around the screw holes. I don't know if the Pixis 6K does, but like that little like outline wasn't on the 6K, and I don't know why they put it there, but that's there. It's a random fact. The fact that you can one hand that camera is crazy. Yeah, that's how big my hands are. That's how big my hands are. So. Get a feeling Pixis 12K will drop in price next year sometime. I hope so. It's only good if it drops in price, because that means that more people will have it. And then more people will say, oh shit, that's a really nice camera and it does a lot of stuff. So after my 6 years, my trusty Lumix, my Lumix S1 Edge, I'm tempted because of the L mount. Big H, I would say like it's kind of hard to explain. The Pixis would be like if you had like if you had like an FX3 and you needed something that needed like a red Komodo workflow, then like the Pixis, if you're on Lumix, would be like a logical step. But yeah, I don't think it takes the place of another camera. I think it's kind of its own category, and it would maybe occupy the same space as like a red Komodo, in my opinion. Handheld Venice. No, that camera actually, that was the one camera where like I tried to do try to handheld with no easy rig for a day, and it actually ruined me. Realistically, how much SSD space do you need to shoot Nikon Red on the ZR? I mean, I have 1 terabyte cards. I always opt for those. 1 terabyte CF Express Type B cards cost less, I believe, than CF Express Type A cards at larger sizes. So personally for me, like my recommendation, if you're going to get the Nikon ZR with the money that you would have saved if you had to get an FX3, I would buy 2 or 3 CF Express Type B cards. And then I'd also get like 1 4 TB SSD. And then like somewhere to back it up, because like personally for me, if I don't have use for footage, I don't keep it. I just get rid of it. Unless a client is willing to pay for it. And that's another thing. In the terms of the conversation about file size and storage, as a business owner, some of those things that you have to, like, that's overhead cost, right? Like you have to, like, it's a cost of your building, right? If you have to carry more people, you need a bigger building, you're going to have to pay or charge people more money in order for people to occupy your building, because the cost of doing business increases. Treat memory the same way. So if you're working on client projects where you have to back up all their stuff, charge them more money to host that thing, and then you use buying the memory as the business expense, because you should be doing that, and then buy the memory anyways. And that way it should even out if you're doing things right. How well do you think it will bounce on a gimbal? Very, very well. The Pixis is just fine on a gimbal. Actually, in fact, that's what I needed it for, is for handheld when I get off sticks, and then also gimbal camera. Hound, hey, I wound up just getting the Pixis in the first batch. I got the L mount, but currently only have EF glass. The Viltrox adapter didn't work. Do you have any other recommendations for adapters? Banana Breadman, I also have heard of that problem. I've never heard of that problem before. But what I will say is I like manual adapters, just because you don't have to worry about that too much. But yeah. Sigma MC adapter. Yeah, Sigma makes really good adapters. It's 1.5 gigabytes per second. I don't know that. Oh, the Type A actually got cheaper. Okay, I haven't bought a Type A card in years, but I remember like getting something that wasn't even like 480 gigs was like $1,000 or something like that. It was something ridiculous. Next Storage is great. Brand has a 480 gigabyte for $199 and sales for $149. Has anybody, so APC, based on my my FX3 kind of bricking a card yesterday, has anyone had problems with Next Storage? Because I don't know anything. I don't even know who Next Storage is. But yeah. Are you going to use this camera at the High Rocks event in Toronto this weekend? Why'd you got to say that, man? That makes me mad. I'm just kidding. Not you. So I tried to apply to get a media pass at High Rocks Toronto, and basically they have a no externals rule. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're not working for High Rocks, you are not allowed on the turf at High Rocks. Now, in the same vein, I could be a spectator and I could bring whatever I want and I could shoot from the sidelines. It's just you have to get lucky and be able to make it to the front and actually be able to see anything. And I don't know that, so I might not bring the Pixis 12K, but I will bring the C50 because I want to get I want to shoot as much with that camera as I humanly can. So when I give it back, anything that I say on it comes from a place of being coherent. That's pretty much it. I have no reason to get this camera, as my FX6 3 and 2 does the job for my line of work, but the sensor tech and the B-RAW is singing to me. Yeah, again, it's going to be a workflow thing, and I really hope. Hang on, how many people are in this chat? There's 66. Also, there's 66 and 9 likes. Figure that out, guys. I'm joking, but what I'm trying to say with that is, and I've said this in the first Pixis video, if it doesn't fit your workflow, that's cool, bro. The FX6 is going to work a lot for a lot of people. So is the 3 and so is the 2. I'm not personally a big fan of the FX2, and I'm pretty open about that, and everyone knows that. But yeah, get whatever works, man. But the sensor technology as a concept, I think, is really attractive because it actually makes downsampling make sense, and you don't lose a lot. And I think that's one of the problems where it's like when you got a downsampled sensor in something else, like you had to give up like either a crop mode or it doesn't do high frame rates. The rolling shutter is not great. Like that was kind of annoying. The main thing I wanted to see is how rolling shutter after and how bad it was on the original Pixis. It's going to be like half, I believe. It's so if you find the numbers for the Ursa Cine 12K, double those and they're on the Pixis. So I think the slowest mode is like 12K. 12K I think is like 15 milliseconds, and then it just like it gets significantly less and less as you go down. Sorry, I burped a bunch. I'm trying to hold it back. Hey, what's going on, Fox? Do you think Super 35 mode will save any battery? 1.5 hours less on a 2 hours of 99 was a little rough. Oh, I don't know. I could try. I doubt it. I doubt it's going to be a significant difference. Like, it's not like a multiple of like it's going to be 33% more battery life by doing it. I don't think that'll change a lot. I'll be spectating. We'll be maybe see you there. We'll bring my FX30. Hey, let's go. Okay, so you're from Toronto. Okay. Sometimes when people know about events, I'm like, are you from here? Or like you heard about it. 33 minutes in, but I'm here. Kadeem, we already unboxed it. So the Pixis 12K, it's right here. This is if I didn't have an Ursa, I would be completely happy with having the Pixis 12K and just getting ND filters. I would be totally fine. But this is in a real way, the way that I make content is I will design a set of like content that I want to make. And then whatever jobs I come up that like kind of coincide with that particular camera, like that's the one I use. So all of the things that I would have done on like the FX6 when I made like a bajillion videos on it, I'm just going to do that on the Pixis 12K. And a lot of the concepts are going to be the same, but it's going to be in the framework of I'm using the Pixis 12K, which is nice because there's a commercial coming up that I'm hoping I can get the bid for. And that'll be able to like I could really bring forth some of the cinematographies I've learned and apply it to some of the fitness stuff. This is why they work. Next Storage Corporation was founded in October 2019 from Sony engineers. The company initially built the Sony Group company. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, cool. That's helpful, actually. I filmed a couple of high rocks on the sideline. It's so exhausting. It's like you're doing the high rocks with them. Okay, so I'm going to do that limping on one leg. I might just throw in like, can you bring a gimbal, Mario? Do you know? I so want one, but with our taxes and duty costs, it's close to 9K for the body. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's one of those. It's an FX6 priced camera, to be honest with you. So like, I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh, would I get? Like, I would have to make the choice between the two. I bought two 6Ks on sale for $1,500 each on sale. Never opened boxes. Bought them full price. Sold them at full price. Basically, bought the Pixis 12K for the difference. Less than 12. Damn. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. You guys got to listen to NM right now. This guy's a hustler. He's been asking for $2 for like 6 months, and somehow figured out how to flip two Pixises into a 12K without spending much more money. Lexar next storage. Okay, makes sense. I'm expecting ProRes RAW for the Pixis on both models. I'm just hoping for ProRes. I would love to get some ProRes in this camera body. Although, weirdly enough, I have clients that like I work for Blue Star Nutraceuticals on a retainer contract, and I usually send them ProRes files, and they're like, no, give me that Blackmagic RAW, and I'm like, okay, can you guys use it? They're like, we'll figure it out. I want the Blackmagic RAW. They deliberately asked for it, so I could just if I could get this on an SSD, and somebody asked me to get this on an SSD to see if it works. That's funny. My the Nisi rep that I'm working on an Aureus video with just asked about Pixis 6K accessories. But yeah, I want to try that on an SSD. Hang on 1 second. I'm trying to see it so I don't get lost here. But I'm trying to find my Allen keys because I have to take the top handle off my Ursa. Oh no, that APC, don't worry about it. That was actually super helpful because I didn't know that. I'm running 2 next storage and 2 pro grades. Haven't any issues with them. Good. Okay, perfect. Which Vespids did you keep? I have the Vespid 2s. My Vespid 1s got stolen out of my car last year, so I don't like the Vespids I rented from Viva. So if you ever see a little blue sticker on any of the gear, I rent from Viva Studios. It's in Toronto. But I have the Vespid 2s, and I love the Vespid 2s because they're just smaller, clean lenses with creamy fall off, like the Aureus lenses, but tinier. And then like the lenses with like a little bit of like character or juice in it. I have I'm testing the Typox right now, whether or not I will pick those up. And after that, like I'm done. Like after that, I don't really have any cinema lens needs. I have Blazar Remus lenses. The Nisi Aureus are great. I rent them out a little bit too. So they make some money. The Vespids are like a good, like clean everyday. And the Typox are like good. I call them like the EDC cinema lenses because they're not incredibly expensive as far as lenses go. Like you can get like G Master lenses are expensive too. But they have a lot of really nice quality. And me and Patrick Tomas were talking about this, but they look like SB3s, but like not as sharp wide open. But also SP3s start their T-stop at 2.4, so that extra stop in the middle not being sharp might also just be why the type box exists. But Angel Bird for Receiver B Type B sucks though, build quality wise. Oh, I've not had I've had a problem with the SD card, and it having a little bit of an entanglement with my FX3 and thus ruining everything. But man, where is Sony in this fight? If you could try that, it'd be great. I feel like I'm the last person left that prefers Super 35. Depends on the lenses you have, man. Either Sony is getting ready for a haymaker or throwing the towel. I don't think I'm throwing the towel. But I do think right now, I don't know if there's any sort of like sense of urgency to make a new camera, to be honest. And I think that's in part because so many people have FX line cameras, right? And the hard part is like there's no way of knowing, right? Sony can't quantify if people are switching or not using their cameras anymore. They can only tell who's buying them, right? So trying to get a lay of the land of that landscape is hard because you never know. Like it could be that's kind of what happened to Canon, right? People started silently switching, and even people being loud about it on social media isn't representative of like 50% of the population. So when people start moving over to other systems, you have no idea it's happening to you. And I'm also mentioning, oh, you guys are talking about cards. You can be anything you want to Hyrox the Spectator. It's very common. I'm looking for an RF 7200, so I'm going to see if I can find that out. But I think I'll just use the C50. I'm not going to make it complicated. How do you deliver your completed work using specific cameras, commercial or digital? Depends on who the client is. Oftentimes they send me a Google Drive and I send it there. And I know there's probably more professional ways of delivering videos. I'd be on that Google Drive. I'm not going to lie to you. And most clients don't care as long as I get it. But I have two next. Okay, Type 80 turquoise. That's what I meant. Oh, okay. You guys are talking about cards. As someone who never shoots ProRes, what's the benefit of shooting it over B-RAW? Aren't B-RAW files smaller on top of it being better quality? ProRes RAW is gigantic. ProRes are pretty big files, but ProRes for the most part, most NLEs play it back pretty easily, and it still maintains a lot of the quality that you have. So if you're working with like anybody that's like a that's like editor for like broadcast, television, or film, ProRes is very, very common to work with that a lot of people use. So it's that. Also, not everybody wants to have RAW, and sometimes the RAW files are bigger. It just depends on the compression and the resolution you're wearing. Gary is in the cut. Happy doing for well. Spooky season has started. It has started, and my girlfriend's birthday is on. She was born on a Friday the 13th in October, and she doesn't let me forget it. Sony is working on their 3-layer burrito. I mean, 3-layer sensor. Allegedly, the middle layer, I believe, is a pixel translation layer for processing. Yeah, I don't know if that sensor is for cameras though. I think you're talking about like the 100 millimeter global shutter or something. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's for cameras. At least ones that we could buy. What's your favorite scary movie or thriller? Bro, go on Netflix during October and look for a movie called Grave Encounters. It ruined my life. Trial Strata works amazingly well. I actually got to meet the CEO of Strata at Cine Gear, Mike Sioni, which was really, really cool because I think in the conversation of the whole like YouTube filmmaking thing, like he's kind of on the side of YouTube where he actually encourages that a lot of productions move into that space. And I mean, if we want to talk about like people that work in the filmmaking space being employed by YouTubers, like that's a thing now. And there's people that you may not know that are working on people that you may watch as channels that are not in the space in the background, which is really nice because it gives another employment avenue. Literally every DP in my country switched from Red to Sony's FX line, so they will save for a couple more years. Yeah, that makes sense. The price point to the functionality on the FX line came at a really good time where Reds were too expensive. Like when the Sony FX6 came out, like Red Monstros were still like $60,000. So it made sense. I'm curious to see what happens now because everything is good and everything is reasonably affordable. I had a 24-70 in FX3 and A7CR with a 7200, but try to keep your setup skinny to navigate through the crowd. Good call. I'm gonna try my best to find my friggin' Allen keys, and I don't know where they are. Hang on. I have a couple Pelican cases here. I'm going to try to look through these and see. It's like a long Allen key too. Like it's no, it's not a long one, but it's an annoying one to have to try to find. Okay, so let me see here. ABC, I'm waiting on the Blackmagic Assist update so we can take a look at B-Raw. From where? Is something, what do you, oh. Am I the only one who thinks Sony is solid? Yeah, I can. Like, here's the thing. APC, it's not that Sony's not solid. It's just other options exist, and oftentimes they're cheaper. So the conversation, especially like now, especially like the industry, the budgets are slashed and stuff like that. We've talked about this before. When you are in a situation where you have to make a buying decision for the best value for the dollar, what ends up happening is that you start making decisions on how little money you could spend. And oftentimes, for a long time, Sony was very competitively priced with things like Canon and other stuff like that. Now that other cameras have come out that are also competitively priced, people are making different decisions, or at least different considerations, and also just the needs of certain aspects of the industry are going to be a little bit different. And that's probably what's sparking up the whole like FX3 killer conversation is exactly that. Just people making different decisions based on how much money they have. Sorry, as like you guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'm just taking out 2 Angel Bird cards to go right in the dome. We're going to turn the Pixis on. I can't find my Allen key because I got to get this top handle off my Ursa. Oh. I'm looking for this friggin' Manfrotto tripod plate for like a week. Okay, guys. All right. So first Pelly. You know what? This might be. This is the wrong Pelican case. This is my Lumix. This is my Lumix Pelican case. Also, do you guys have a bunch of Pelican cases in your house? And if you do, how do you guys organize them? Because I organize mine by camera package if I was to rent them out. So then like everything in the ready to shoot kit would be on the Pixis inside of that Pelican case. But I don't know how you guys do your things, but that's how I do mine. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep chat going. Oh, we talked about that. We talked about that. One lens, one scene, 12K, crop everything. I have a couple funny video ideas with the Ursa 12K, the Pixis 12K. I got an email for the, what's that slow motion camera? The Pixel Boom, the global shutter super slow motion camera. And I kind of want to make a video called The Slowest Mo, where we just do a bunch of different things in slow motion and just see what it looks like, because it'd be fun. Because right now, like, again, I don't want the messaging on like this stuff to be like, you have to buy this camera. But I do want the messaging of like, look at this stuff. It's super friggin' fun. And I think where I'm at now is like, I just like having fun. Tomorrow we have, hopefully we have tomorrow if we could lock down talent. We're going to do a C50, C80, and R5C side-by-side test. But my friend is going to read rap songs in the cadence of reading Dr. Seuss books. So that way, when like it's going, we can go through each of the side-by-side footage, but at the same time, that'd be hilarious. Thanks to the community. Oh, thank you, man. We got a lot of cool stuff going on, man. I do forget to put the Discord channel link inside of the description. If you see this guy's on the replay and I don't put it in there, you could get mad at me. What brand cracked corrupt with your FX3 footage? We want to know. It was an Angel Bird card. It was an Angel Bird SD card. And I don't know if it was the card or it was the FX3. So I think I'm just going to double record from now on. Especially SDs. I think I'm just going to dual record SDs from now on. I think that's the easiest. Oh my God, we have a Discord? Yes, we do. We have a channel Discord, which I keep forgetting the link to. And I think Mac is in it. Mac, actually, can you do me a huge favor? If you have Discord handy on you, you could post a link in chat. I don't mind. But only if you have it, because I don't know how to pull up the link in a way that is easy, because my laptop is, it's here. It's kind of difficult to figure. Okay, let me figure this out. Actually, Mac, you don't have to do anything. Let me just open up the Discord. When should we expect a C50s and FX killer video? I'm not, you know what? Here's the thing. And I know Jason's joking, but I think the FX3 killer conversation, I think, is a joke that some people might have taken a little too seriously. Hang on a second. Somebody just asked me about Korobachi. Hang on a second. Let me try to find the invite link for here. Creative Nephews, invite people, copy the Discord link. I'm going to post it in the chat right now. So if anyone wants to join into our channel Discord, honestly, this is a good place to ask questions. There's other creators in there as well. Whenever I upload a video, I'll put it in there whenever I remember to. And stuff like that. And like any behind the scenes of videos that I'm working on, like I usually will put up there. Obviously, no things under embargo. And yeah, we just have fun chats in there. We'll talk about a bunch of stuff. When should we? So to the point of this video, the whole killer conversation, and I hope that we can understand this. And after I finish saying it, you could put a 1 if you understand and put a 0 if you don't understand. But the idea for the whole FX3 killer is exactly what we were talking about before. The reason why people are comparing and contrasting to the FX3 is for 2 reasons. 1, there just isn't another FX3. And 2, from the time that it came out till today, the camera necessarily hasn't gotten better versus the price that it has. And yes, other cameras have caught up, but also other cameras offer a little bit more, either in a value proposition from a price point perspective, or they're better priced, or both. And I made this analogy before. I was talking to my buddy, and I said, Mike Tyson is one of the greatest boxers of all time. He's one of the greatest boxers that we've ever seen. However, if I was to fight him today, I would be able to win. But that doesn't negate the fact that he was the greatest boxer of all time. But he's also an older man. And I wouldn't even pay as much money as I wouldn't pay as much money for a Mike Tyson boxing ticket today as I would when he was in his prime, which is the same thing in the same argument for the FX3, except Sony's charging my prime ticket price, but giving me this 60-year-old Mike Tyson to fight Jake Paul. And some people don't want to do that. And that's what the killer conversation. And then it turned into a joke that people got really mad at. And because it's like, it's cameras and they're innocuous, it almost becomes a little funny. Like I'm gonna admit it. I don't jump in the conversation. Like I don't make too many killer videos. But when people get really, really pissed off about like saying a camera has good value versus a camera that came out that they might have, it does become funny because it's such a weird thing to be very upset about. And I get it. You spent a lot of money. But yeah, still. Mike Tyson would not. Yeah, I am joking. I am being hyperbolic. I am very much joking. So don't think that I'm going to try to, what's it called? I'm going to try to fight Mike Tyson. People are very emotional about gear. It's gear, for God's sakes. Get what works for you. Yeah, and the idea for these YouTube videos is just to like give you some part of a first-person account, so you could kind of make, you can make those decisions, because nobody wants to make, like, if camera reviews didn't exist, your only point of reference would be the minimum wage retailer that doesn't care about you, and you'd have less information. Because I worked in retail, and a lot of these people don't. Like, a lot of people didn't know what they're talking about. Enjoyed it, so much fun. Hey, thanks, man. Sometimes, you know what? Whenever there's like, someone should have told that to Jake. Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, also Garrity, we do play. I wanted to start playing games and stuff in there and having like more Discord events, which would be fun. I don't know what is happening, but there are way too many messages at the same time, and I think it's just people replying to stories and stuff. But I get very easily distracted. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn this guy on, because I have not done that yet. So I didn't find the top handle, but we'll figure something out. First turn on of the Pixis 12K. Why? There's 71 people in here to watch me use my own camera. All right. So same thing as always. We're just going to go to the English. It's okay. This looks weird. Like, does not look weird in the screen? Maybe the hertz is a bit different, but that's not blinking or flickering on mine. But oh, it just works now. It's just on now. It's just the Blackmagic menu now. Also, what I didn't notice, and I don't know if anyone who has a Pixis 6K, when you do this, hang on, you did it there you go. It does a vertical menu now. I don't think I had that on the Pixis 6K. I don't actually know if that was on the Pixis 6K. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna figure out which shooting modes we have here. I gotta format these cards. This is gross. Format. Nope. Yeah, let me format you. Real number. Let's go real number 1. Update format. exFAT. We're gonna update our cards and oh, what the hell? 3, 2, 1. Okay, so cards are gonna format. It is NM. I don't know what I said. A lot of words in the last like 2 minutes. Which one is? Vertical 12K is diabolical. Yeah. Yeah, imagine shooting like if you shot vertical 12K, you'd be able to like shoot the Kendrick Lamar video from the top of a building and still get him isolated. Oh, sorry. The Pixis 6A is great. What is the appeal of the 12K other than dynamic range, better in low light? Readout speeds. Obviously resolution. The sensor itself is different, which I don't necessarily mean it's going to be a better image quality, but the downsampling part is what's it called? The downsampling part is going to be useful. Hang on a second. This was an important message. Okay, and then we're gonna go to here. Hang on, let me pick the screen's not doing the thing. Exit. Okay, yeah, so exit, card. Why can't I pick you? Hang on a second. I'm having a little bit of trouble with the screen here. Okay, so it swipes over. Okay, there you go. That was weird. Okay, touchscreen is fine. exFAT 2. Sorry, I don't know what's happening with the touchscreen here. Just like I had to like really tap on it. Maybe I wasn't doing it right. What is the appeal of the 12K image? But more than that, the ability to shoot different resolutions without scaling, cropping down to the sensor. Yes, Team 2 Films has a really good really good video on it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make like a 12K sensor for dummies, and I set up like a top-down angle with a bunch of fruit, and I'll try to explain how it works with fruit. And I don't know if I'll do it right. And the native 800 ISO instead of 400. Good to know. When does the circuit start though? Because I know even though there's a base that's in here. Okay, so 200. So base and native ISOs, and I got into a big fight with ChatGPT about this, are technically two different things depending on how you look at it. But on this guy over here, the native ISO, which is where your dynamic range is going to be the highest, is going to be 800. You're absolutely right. And then I think what's the second one? Is it 32? Hang on a second. You know what? The easiest way to do this, I might have to record a clip and then see where the circuits actually change. I'll have to do that in another video. But I like using 200 and 400, especially to keep all of my shadows really, really clean. But okay, so does anyone who has a Pixis 6K, does theirs do the vertical thing? I've never known it to do that. I've never seen that happen before. I don't know who's going to shoot vertical in 6K and 12K, but it's there. So right now at OpenGate 3x2, 24 frames a second on a 2 terabyte card, I have 115 minutes. And that's at that's an 8-to-1 compression ratio. But if I go to 3-to-1, I have 47 minutes. So if I recorded this guy for 47 minutes, and I don't know if this will focus. You can see right there, 47 minutes. That's a 2 terabyte card. That's wild. That's focus. I set it to slow. Hang on. There you go. It's fine. Because how often will you be pointing camera straight up to record? Yeah, I've never know that. I never noticed. Yo, picking up the S12, how much I got it for was steal. Yes. You should. Now that I know the Pixis, the 12K is native, I'm gonna use it for that feature in excess. Honestly, that actually will help out a lot for a lot of people. Although I do just shoot an open gate and then I'll use the crop lines on it, so that's a bit different. But usually the shooting mode I'm going to use the most is I'll shoot 8K, 3x2, like 5-1, more than 8-1 more than likely. And I have a 1 and a 2 terabyte card into here. On a 2 terabyte card, I'll get 2 hours and 47 minutes. On a 1 terabyte, 123. And I think that'll be fine for me. LCD will be set up Pixis 12K. Now I'm going to call this. What should we call the Pixis 12K? Because this is my camera. Like, this is going to be mine. This is mine. What should we call it? BM do not list an official second native ISO. Just a single dynamic range chart. The sensor does not have dual base. Oh, you know what? Yes, Kyle, you're right. Because I know my Ursa doesn't really have one either. I know it's 800, but I don't think it has anything else. You're right. You could also easily add full-size XLR mid-49 breakout tucked behind cage using dual SDIs with wooden cameras 12. Yes, you can. Again, I feel like I'm going to use this very much as like a handheld. When I'm off sticks and I want to be on gimbal, I'm going to pull out the Pixis. If I'm on sticks, I'm shooting corporate, I'm shooting documentary interviews, it's going to be on that Ursa because I like the built-in NDs on it. Actually, speaking of which, give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go and grab my backpack and get my thigh box out. There we are. Okay. Got our backpack. I'm gonna get my my Samara C's. Oh, you know what? I'm a friggin' idiot. They're not even in my backpack. They're not in my backpack. They're not there. They're inside of this case. With all the new cameras out that recently came out, I just wish Sony would release open gate camera with raw recording, hopefully B-raw, as I don't have that much space on my NAS. I don't know if they'll do it this year. I know Sony, like, usually with Sony releases, it's usually around the time where like nobody has anything out, so it's kind of like their time to shine. And with how many cameras came out, I think what they're doing is that like truthfully, if another Sony camera came out, I think it would be too overwhelming for a lot of people. It might make some people really happy, but I think it'd be a little bit much given everything else. And I guess it kind of gives them a way to say, like, to put themselves in a position of like, hey, like, well, we don't kind of like, we play to our own rules kind of thing. Like, it might be a marketing thing. Who knows? I don't really know. But that, yeah, I think it would have been too much, to be honest with you. Cause like I'll be so honest with you. Like when I was at Sony Condo, everything was coming out. I was overwhelmed and I didn't even watch anything yet. So yeah, 3,200. Oh, I guess maybe that is it. So I'm gonna use big up Kofi. Thanks. Congrats on your purchase. Fishing. I'll be so real with you. This camera is brought to me by Blackmagic. I did not pay anything for it. The way that works is Blackmagic will sometimes do things where like they'll send out a camera. They'll say, hey, go create, go make stuff. And then sometimes they'll use some of that footage and stuff for press releases and stuff like that. So that is the deal with my relationship with Blackmagic. Sometimes I buy the camera because I would prefer to buy it than wait and kind of like the Ursa, for example, was a camera where I just bought it. I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait for like some sort of approval for like whether or not like I'd be allowed to kind of do some sort of exchange for it for some of the stuff that I'm working on. So I just purchased that. But the Pixis is a little bit of a different story. So yeah, that's for disclosure for you. So if that makes you mad, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not saying you particularly, but some people don't like it when creators get things for free and then make content on them. So my Pixis shoots vertical. Oh, okay, I didn't like. So weird. I never saw or knew that. Does Pixis have open gate? Yes, absolutely does. Has 3x2 in every single resolution. Oh, they don't release. Okay. How sensor calibration works on the Ursa and Pixis 12K? Do you have to black shade like the red cameras? If not, Why is it not necessary? Does the camera do it automatically? I've never had to. It's never happened to me, and I don't know why. I think maybe I don't know. I couldn't give you a real reason why, but I've never had to do a black shade on the on a. You can do a pixel calibration though. Like you can't do one. I've just never done one and never needed to. But I will say some people on the Pixis 12K Facebook group said that they had some banding problems in their skies, and that doing a sensor calibration helps out a lot. So you know what? That reminds me. I'm gonna just do it now. I don't mind getting things for free. Let me hold one lens cover. I give you a lens cover, no problem. I thought for 2:1 ratio, so 2.4 to 1 ratio, what if you used an anamorphic sideways, like the beetle, to stretch the image vertically? Bokeh will stretch weird faster, but the readout speed and the ratio would be cool. That's a good idea. The thing is, I think the speed between I think the 241 and 17.9, I don't know if they're that far apart from each other. Like, I don't know if it's if it's just for readout speed, I don't know if they're so far apart that it would make a significant difference to go through all the hassle. Hey, Gary, have a good one. I should probably do a little bit more notice when doing these streams. That is, I will make a point to do that. Does anybody else have their Pixis 12K? Because I also want to know what firmware you're on, just to make sure I'm up to date before I shoot with this and find out the hard way. Lucky for you, I can't wait to get mine in a few days. This will go perfect. My Cine for Little Eddie production movie on the way. Oh yeah, you're still working on your feature. Let me homie get the 6K on the low. Been waiting for this body. Hey, I actually am very excited about this. But also, yeah, in terms of I work as a content creator that makes stuff about cameras, and then I also shoot with said cameras, and then also we put those projects up on YouTube for consumption. Sometimes that comes with perks, and that's one of them, and it's cool. And I don't think I want to apologize for it. What's your experience with the Mofage Poco V&D system? I know V&Ds are never ideal, but a ton of people use it. Is a quality there? Is it just the cheapest and that's why they're everywhere? Two things can be true at the same time, Kyle. So yes, they are reasonably affordable for what they are, but I do have one, and I've had one for a very long, not a very long time, but I've had one for quite a while. It is in my backpack. I have one. I don't necessarily want to do the douche thing and pull it out and show it to you, but I do have one for my L mount, so I do have one for the S1 II. I like it. I think it's great, and I don't notice right away any sort of problems. I don't notice any sort of problems in terms of color casting and stuff, or polarization. So far for me personally, if no one ever told me anything, I would just continue about my life and it'd be fine. So I want the Pixis 12K soon, but not soon enough. Lucas, honestly, Blackmagic's one of those companies where the initial pre-orders go crazy, and then it's steady and you can get one anytime. So again, I want to stress this. The excitement around getting it now comes from people that had the money, had the immediate need, and they pulled the trigger. It's okay to wait 6 months to buy a camera. It's totally fine. In fact, I would say more people are inquiring about the Pixis 6K now than they were than when it came out. And I was using it quite a bit. And then I kind of used some of the funds from the Pixis 6K to buy the Ursa Cine 12K. I use a mic with breakthrough filters. I found that one a little green. I think it's a little red and black one, right? I found that green. Also, this is how I just need to get my Allen key for getting the top handle off of my Ursa. But you know what I'm gonna do just for fun? Also, here we go. I am gonna start recording on this. I'm gonna start speeding on it. Right now we're at 8K, 8:1. Because I'm not going to test every battery by resolution and compression. That's insane. So I'm at 8K, 8:1. And I'm going to record on it, and we're just going to see when the battery dies. Hasn't been on that long, so we'll just press record. I'll just see when the battery dies. And I can format it later. That's not a big deal. Fishing. Yeah, no, I didn't mean specifically you. Sorry. Sometimes when I say things, I just say you as just a colloquial term for the general population. Appreciate transparency. Would love to see images you create. You will very soon. Hang on a second. I accidentally hit a button to make my autofocus stupid. Come back. Come back. Every time. Hang on a second. I accidentally locked. Okay, so let me. I accidentally hit the button that locked my autofocus, but then I moved the box so it's not on my face anymore. That was stupid of me. Yeah, if any of you guys ever have a question, like usually when people say like, hey, like no money change hands, blah, 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 that's actually what happened. Blackmagic's the type of company too, where they just give you stuff. Like if you're working with them, sometimes they don't even tell you that things are being shipped. They just ship it. And then you get an email like 6 hours before it shows up at your house being like, hey, by the way, like you asked about like the 6K full frame. Yeah, it's at your house. Like I was going to West Africa 2 years ago, and like I had one conversation with the Blackmagic rep about trying the 6K full frame, and they didn't just that was a conversation. Like there was no yes, we're gonna send you a thing. Like there was no conversation about it at all. And then like a random day, the day before I left to leave the country, like this box shows up in my house, and it's a whole camera, and I'm like, when were you gonna tell anybody? Well, what are you doing? So that happens, and it's cool. It takes a lot of work to get to that point, but it's cool when it does. Is there much difference between the 6K and the 12K? Depends in terms of what, Larry. Like you're talking about image quality, or you're talking about dynamic range, readout speed. Very much depends. I feel like the FX3 Mark II, whatever the name is going to be, will be a banger. Can only be a banger. FX3 has 4 years now. The company just caught up with Sony. So if Sony just released the FX3 Mark II feature like OpenGate, it's a win. Mike, I could agree with you in a lot of ways. I think what's going to end up happening is that the camera is going to be incredibly expensive. You're looking at like probably very close to a $5,000 camera. I wouldn't be surprised if it was $48.99. And then it becomes so far out of reach for a lot of people that like, yeah, it's a banger camera, but then it's also $5,000, and it's like, well, it actually might even more justify the cheaper cameras, because if 6K OpenGate 420 with anamorphic support and IBIS is enough, the FX3 will certifiably be a better camera, but the price tag jump that I have to get there is going to be a little bit out of reach. It's like once you get to the past 5,000, like it's going to be out. And if the FX3 is the price that it is and it doesn't go down significantly, it will be received very well as a very useful camera. I don't know how many people will buy it based on that fact, but we'll see. And I agree with you, and I want them to do well, because it was way simpler when I just rocked 80 videos on an FX3. Just for fun, bake a pie. I'm trying my best to eat less pies. I'm just geeking 6 months to the 12K go on sale. Classic Blackmagic move. You know what? I know it's a classic Blackmagic move, but my hot take is I love that for Blackmagic, because what they're trying to say is and we had a conversation with not Grant Petty, but the other half of Blackmagic, and he made a good point where he's like, their main goal is to get these cameras into the hands of like indie filmmakers. And I don't mean like indie narrative filmmakers. I mean people that are like on solo commercials, documentaries, like everyone that's doing like small team, small crew, nimble, like scrappy filmmakers. Like that's who they make the camera for. And they want to make it as accessible to as many of those people as possible. And I actually really respect that. And if that means that like they release a camera and then it goes on sale, okay. To be fair, I will say Blackmagic cameras are, in my opinion, the hardest to sell aftermarket, even if it's the price is the same. So I like with Blackmagic particularly, I wouldn't buy a Blackmagic. There's another fly. I wouldn't buy a Blackmagic camera to flip it. Not as often. If you're gonna get a Blackmagic camera, I would keep it, because the price is gonna fluctuate so much that trying to resell it's not gonna do you any good. Can you explain the ISO since there's no base? What should we choose for different lighting scenarios then? Okay, so Media ILE, this is going to be a soup. If you understand how Cine EI works on the Sony FX line, using the Pixis is going to make a lot of sense. So basically, it's super hard to explain. So ISO basically is obviously going to be gain, and the higher you go up in gain, the more light you become sensitive to on the sensor. The part about that is that the sensor isn't necessarily an eye with a brain. The sensor reads light, interprets it, sends it back, and the more gain you put in there, the more noise per se is going to be in there when it's working on one circuit. It's super hard. Like again, this is already getting too sciencey. So if a sensor has one gain circuit, the more gain you put into there, the more stuff you put into the signal that's in front of the image to be processed so you can see it, which is why you have noise, right? And the way that people mitigated that with dual base ISO is that when you got to a certain gain, it would flip the sensor so it would start all over again. So it's like running from like 0 to 100 meters, right? From 0 to 1 meter, it's it's reasonably not bad. But 0 to 30 meters is when you hit top speed, because you don't necessarily hit top speed accelerating. You have to work up into it. So accelerating is like shooting at 200 ISO, 400 ISO, 640. Your top speed and your acceleration is at 800, right? So when you're actually kind of like almost upright and you're hitting your top speed, making it to from 30 to 100 meters. So the way that that works is say, for example, you have to run 200 meters. And what would end up happening is that instead of after 100 meters, you slow down a little bit, you actually hit a second top speed as you're running into that 200 meters. If that makes any sense, I really hope it did. But in terms of what the ISO is that native is going to be where you run your fastest or you have your highest dynamic range, which is 800. However, 200 will sacrifice a little bit of your highlight detail, but your shadows get really, really clean, which is why for me, for darker skin tones, I will usually shoot at like 400 or like one stop below and then just make my lighting a bit better. So because I'm not going to lose too much in the highlights, the light's not going to be that bright. And sometimes I could double diffuse it, but then darker skin tones, dark areas are going to look really crisp. So I hope that explained that. And I wish I had a better way of explaining that. You could be, but honestly, I'm not like other people who pixel peep over things. General public doesn't care about that. I hate conversations around 16-bit by 12-bit. I'm just like, go make something. Yes, no, 100%. And I think where I'm at with cameras right now is like I want to give everybody all the information. There's a fly and it's going to drive me nuts. I want to give everybody all the information because I can acknowledge that not everybody is going to have an S12, a Pixis, or a C50 that they just have access to, right? Like now building a relationship with Canon, it is easy to drive to Canon one day and just say, I want to pick up a C400 and I can make 10 videos on it. And then you guys have all that information. So with that and trying to give value to the audience, because I can understand they don't have everything. The idea is to give all that information, but I agree with you. I just want to shoot projects now. I feel like I've spent so much time giving out knowledge that I haven't really acquired any new. And what dark abyss did you summon the camera from? The back of Blackmagic's office. Because I work with them, if I need to buy something or like they send me stuff, which is like half and half, I just ask them and they'll send, like it'll probably get there. I'll never get it first, but it will happen eventually, if that makes sense. Regarding 12K resolutions, 12 is 1 terabyte enough? I would just shoot at 8K, man. I don't shoot nor deliver in 12. 8, 5.5 to 1 or 8 to 1 compression, nice little sweet spot. I don't know if you'll tell much of a difference between 12K and 8K, especially if you're going to downsample to 4K anyways on your timeline. I would rock a 1 terabyte card, and I think you get about, I think we tried it. I think on a 1 terabyte card, you don't get a lot of time. But yeah, I would say 1 terabyte is enough if you're going to run that 8K. I would run it in 8K. I'm just curious how Sony will maintain its reputation as the best low light camera since sensors are getting more and more Ks. I don't know. And to be honest with you, I've done side-by-sides with other cameras that aren't Sony's that in low light. They're not far off, and some of them are as good, if not a little better. If I'm being honest, with my feelings, 12,800 ISO, I think was a really good thing when all cameras at 3,200 did completely bad. Now that's not the case. So the 12,800 ISO loses a little bit of like the wow factor in 2025 when everything around it really sucked in like 2020. The FX3 Mark II can't be significantly better without cannibalizing FX6 sales. My guess is bigger, better screen, open gate, and the same sensor, and that's it. Maybe some kind of RAW. Fox, I don't know about that because I think if whatever the FX3 Mark II is going to probably be part of a new generation of FX line cameras, which would mean the FX6 kind of equivalent camera of whatever the FX3 Mark II is going to be is also going to be a significant jump up too. They've never held their value very well. I'd get them on flash sale and just flip them whenever the sale is over. Yeah, I you know what? And that part sucks. And I don't know if that it's indicative of it's a bad camera. I think it's just people like it's like a if you know camera where like if you have a Blackmagic camera, like people are like, oh, okay, like that person probably is a little bit scrappier and it builds character. But it's also a system where like once you buy it, like don't think you're gonna flip it and sell it right away. The company Breakthrough has its own drop in PL mount solution called the Cinema DFM. It's pricey though, it's $1,000. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I don't think I can do that. Did you unbox already? Sam, I did unbox already. I'm sorry. I unboxed it about half an hour ago. SDI output can convert it to HDMI with no risk. I will use it as a live stream. Yeah, that's fair. That's why dual native and base ISO aren't the same thing. Yes, because dual base. Sorry, I keep getting mixed up. Base ISO is the lowest ISO that you can get on the sensor. Native ISO is the ISO value that has the most dynamic range for that gain circuit. If that makes, or where it's best performed at, which I guess technically is loosely the best dynamic range. Because technically you get cleaner shadows at like 200 and 400, but that also means your total dynamic range is a little bit less. The thing is that a lot of like Xylo charts won't tell you, is they don't tell you where those ranges are. So that's just joining. Hey, what up, Tim? Had a job, then saw one battle after another on IMAX. What did I miss? Unboxed the Pixis 12K yet? Tim, I did. I'm trying to find the Allen key so I could put my top handle and Pixis monitor on here, but that's this with the Typoc. Right now, I'm speeding on it right now to see, one, if after a while it gets hot, or if I even get an overheating warning. Camera's like a little warm after 12 minutes, but nothing crazy. And I want to see how long the battery lasts, so we'll see how long that battery lasts for. No spoilers. Oh yeah, no. Hang on. No one, don't talk about this movie. I am watching it. If you guys ruin it, I will get so mad. 1 terabyte's decent for 12K if you treat it like film. That's how I treat the 12K. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, Tim's a really good. Tim actually does have the Ursa and the Pixis 12K too. Gotta head out, but glad to have you caught turning on the camera. See you later, Fox. Barry, would you ever switch camera brands? I don't have a main camera brand anymore. I'm in like the realest way possible, because part of my job is still working on client stuff, which like I'll use my Blackmagic cameras for that, because I just prefer them to use it on certain things, especially the work that I do. There's Lumix cameras in the house. There's Fuji's. There's a Sony somewhere. I pre-ordered the Nikon ZR, and I've been using a Canon C50 for the last 48 hours. I don't really have a camera. Here's the thing. In the YouTube land, and I think maybe this is where things get confusing, is most creators at a certain point don't really have a camera brand anymore, unless they're sponsored by said brand. And the reason why, for 2 reasons, is like, one, you just don't, as a business, pigeonholing yourself to one customer is kind of rough unless there's some sort of gigantic upside to you. Which is why you will never see Peter McKinnon use anything but a Canon camera, because the upside of him only using Canon is significantly more advantageous than doing anything else outside of maybe a Leica or some film cameras. But where was I going with that? If you're a schmuck like me who doesn't have a brand sponsor or anything like that, you kind of just work with everybody. And everyone knows too. Like, I was at the Canon building talking about like the Lumix S1 II, and like it's not like they're unaware of that. They're not like, oh, screw this guy. He uses something else. They're pretty receptive to that, and they actually prefer, like, a lot of brands prefer that, because that way, especially when it comes to feedback, some brands don't really want yes men to be like, yeah, this is the best camera ever, and it's like, but is it? Because if you just tell me what you think I want to hear, we're never really going to get anywhere. We're always going to, in fact, there's a Morbius reference somewhere in here with the FX2. But not to say that it's a bad movie. There's something that like people did that Sony responded to based on audience feedback, which ended up being a troll. Very interested in the C50. I'm curious if the top handle shows when using a wide angle lens. I have not thought about that. No, I don't think it does. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And the reason why I say it doesn't is because the robot shots that we had today, I shot in the DZO 12mm. And you couldn't see the robot arm. So I would assume not. But also, I haven't used a 10mm RF before, so I don't know. But then again, it doesn't show on the FX3, so I would assume not. I think as long as you get it behind it can't see past the element. So as long as the end of the handle doesn't make it past the element, I think you're fine. Do you need to put a cage on the Pixis? I'm not going to, actually. Actually, no, I talk out of 2 sides of my mouth. I may buy cage accessories for this one, because when I got rid of my 6K to get the Ursa, I got rid of the cage as well with it. But you don't need to. You could run this with a top handle, Pixis monitor, a little tiny battery, and the Thypox with an ND filter and be totally fine. I would recommend it though if it's going to be your main camera, and like based on how expensive it is, I would assume that it would be a lot of people's main. I would get a cage for it, and I'm in a toss up because if you want it to like rig big and you're putting a lot of stuff on it, I would go with the Condor Blue system. If you're a little bit more run and gun but still need the mounting points, I'd maybe say Tilta. It's like the Notebook but more murders. Do not get the Tilta cage if you want to use VND adapters. It blocks the oh, okay. Never mind. Don't get the Tilta cage if you want to use VND adapters. Okay, I will take a look at getting that in IMAX because there's an IMAX theater in Toronto. Various. Oh, I already said that. Already saw that. What's your main camera currently and why? Sounds command. No, Mike, you're not being commanding. You're fine. I don't have one. Like again, like because of the nature of the jobs that I do between client work, retainer work, YouTube, personal stuff. It kind of like again, this is where like I know it gets really annoying for people because I don't answer direct questions sometimes, but that's also because I don't have a direct answer. Um, because I truly don't have a direct answer for that kind of thing. So, like I think for the, I'll try to give some sort of context. So I work on a retainer contract for a company called Blue Star Nutraceuticals. A lot of their stuff is, ironically enough, I actually do production for their YouTube channel. We will shoot that on cameras that are usually locked off on 6 with NDs. So the Ursa Cine 12K would be the camera I would use for that. However, there's also times we have to get B-roll for some of the things because a lot of them are like workout plan stuff. I would use the Pixis as a handheld in that situation. So you can see where like this is kind of confusing. At the same breath though, like I tried it on the S1 II and it worked fine. I prefer to have something I could like mount V mounts to. Like you could rig up an S1 II and it'd be fine. And I have used it on one of those shoots. I've also used the FX3 for the same shoots in the 6. But for that kind of work, I'd use like a Ursa or the Pixis because most things are going to be locked off, and I could pull focus, shooting fitness stuff as long as the person's not running at me really quickly. That's tougher. For YouTube, I'm actually going to be, and she doesn't know this, and she's not here. My girlfriend's going to get this S12E for her birthday as part of the 3-part birthday present that I am getting. So she will get the S12E, and I also have a 20-60 for her as well. So happy birthday, Janelle. You don't watch my streams, but now you know. But I will use, but like this camera here will end up being the S1R2, and I'll use the S1 II as like the YouTube camera where when I have to make videos and I have to make videos on a particular thing, I would use the S1 II to do that. But like the cinematic stuff, I'll use the Pixis or the Ursa because there's documentaries and commercials I have on them. Photo cameras, I have 2 Fujis. I have a X106 that I got in a really good deal. And then I also have a GFX 50R, which I also got in a really good deal. Those are photo cameras. And I don't really use the S1 II for photography. I know it does do it, and I've figured it out to get it to actually look good, but I don't use it for that. And the S1R2 is kind of the same thing. I have it for photo. Like it's a camera where if I want something faster that's full frame, I'll use the S1R2 for like client work when I have photos, which is like twice a year. I hope you can understand how this is really confusing as to what my main camera is. Because everything I use has some sort of context to it based on what I'm doing. And it's hard to quantify that down to one. One out of the 2860 f2.8, because I have that and it's mine. I'm not giving it to her. She will get the kit lens, and that is all she's getting. I'm sorry. The camera is already expensive enough. For a light rig, I would do the 8-sin. Their top plate is pretty good. I do like the top, like I do like the top mounting points on the Pixis though. Like I don't know if I need a top. I just want a top handle, and that still reminds me I have not found my friggin' Allen key, and it's gonna. I hate that the top handle for the Pixis and the Ursa needs an Allen key, and it's a very specific size of Allen key. Hang on, give me like 4 seconds. I'm just gonna jump out of frame. I found it. I got it. I'm gonna be able to take that top handle off. Let me try to ask him the question. What's your VND solution? I have 3 of them. For this guy, because the Nisi JetMag system, which I broke one of the NDs, if you saw my Instagram story. Nisi JetMags I would use on this if they fit, but these are a 62 millimeter filter thread on the tie box. So I have to use a Moment ND, which was this little guy over here. So I'm gonna wipe that off a little bit. Thing's filthy. But yeah, so I have a little moment, VND. Don't know if it color casts or not. I haven't had too many problems with it, so I like it quite a bit. That's going to go onto here. I also got to make a Blackmagic Pixis Uncle Kofi LUT. I've been really good at like making different LUTs and then just adjusting the color space transform and then making the tweaks. So maybe eventually I'll have like a little LUT thing and I'll have it for like every camera system that I use. Although I'm really trying to dial the skin tones in where like you don't have to change them, but I also realize that depending on the light that you're in and depending on the skin tone, it's a little different. There's still 61 people here on a friggin' Wednesday. So this is how we're looking. Hang on a second. That's how we're looking. We're still recording, so I want to see how long the battery lasts for. But that's that guy right here. So we have this, and what I'm going to do... Hang on a sec. Oh, I'm in focus again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just run out, get my Ursa, because I have it set up in the living room, because I was just getting some shots for a video. And I'm going to try to get the top handle and the Pixis monitor on here. Was on a Burano shoot this weekend. Looks beautiful, rigged up. Did you consider the Burano? Was there a particular reason for the 12K? No, Garden. The reason why I didn't consider the Burano is because the price of the Ursa Cine 12K and the Pixis combined is still less money than buying one Sony Burano. The Sony Burano, like I used it, I tested it, it's great. The hardest part is going to, like the hardest part for, I think, all of the cameras, the hardest part for all of the cameras right now is for Sony, they're great, but they're like, for the greatness, it's like just far outside of my price point that I couldn't consider using it because I don't want to pay that amount of money. Like $25,000 is a lot of friggin' money. And that's past the highest limit of how much I would spend on a camera. I think like 12 grand is the farthest I'll pay for a camera package. Like that's the absolute limit. And anything I buy more than that, I rent. So that puts the Burano out of the conversation. Also, oh, that's just if the screen turns off when you. I won't be buying a Fuji Eterna, but if Joshua Martin, Cine Dailies is in the chat, the second you buy that, I will be buying a plane ticket to Illinois, and you're sharing it now. He also had a really good video on professionalism yesterday, which I liked a lot. Shooting ISOs under native ISOs means you gain a stop in the shadows, but lose a stop in the highlights. Shooting above means you gain a stop in the highlights, but crush one. Yes, that's why higher ISOs are noisy. It's because you lose the information in the darker parts. That's why a lot of X-Mini shooters frequently shoot at 1600, one stop above, even on bright sunny days, and get the extra stops and highlights. Yes. A dual native ISO means at the center where you push and pull the tray out. So that was a very scientific way of explaining it. I liked my track runner way of explaining it. Okay, Kyle? What if I got 15 cameras, use 2 of them? I just told you the use of every single camera in this house. Let me live. Mike, I think you just ignored everything I just said. I don't switch systems. I own multiple systems, but also like after owning a few cameras, all the menus are kind of the same. But also because I legitimately in video content creation, I have more ways that shows up than the average person. Because there's YouTube, there's client work, there's retainer work, there's photography, then there's client photography, then maybe there's like Instagram stuff. So those tools are going to be different. So it's not necessarily switching up cameras. It's trying to put that all into one thing is a little confusing. And oftentimes you have to make a trade-off when you have one camera. And also making YouTube videos, stuff like that. Some of these stuff you don't have to pay for. So I put them to work or I give them to friends and family. Would you see Blackmagic add an H.265 codec internally to the Pixis in line or just keep it strictly raw? I don't know. And especially because Blackmagic is clearly doing stuff with Apple, I don't know if they're going to change their minds on how they do stuff. And I really hope that like Apple adding in ProRes RAW and the Blackmagic app being a little bit more friendly to Blackmagic, just stuff in general in the workflow. Maybe that works the other way. Maybe we get a more reasonable way of getting files off of the Blackmagic. Although, do I want H.265 in the Pixis? I want all that quality, to be honest with you. Like, if you're going to give it to me, I'd rather take it. But I can understand that for people that don't have Resolve, which is weird because you get Resolve free when you get the camera. It can be annoying. I was thinking about that today. Like, if you're working Like if you're working with like clients. Yeah, my kit for working with clients and my kit for doing like YouTube are totally different. They're totally different things. We unemployed gang. Hey, we're fun employed or self-employed. And again, if you're unemployed, then I would start making content. Like when I started, I was a broke student, and I'm like, well, I can't be. Like being a broke artist is way easier than being a broke student, because at least being a broke artist, like there's at least the artist part is there. Being a broke student when you graduated, you're kind of nothing. Um, you could start doing some stuff today, 1021. If you're short on client work, you could start working on something else that can make you money. And if you're busy with client work, then you don't have to work on the stuff that on the outside. Your thoughts on the S12E versus the S52X? Same sensor, a lot of the same stuff. This camera right now is the S12E in the webcam. What was I gonna say? It has a lot of body stuff that makes it really easy to use. Also, like the internal ProRes RAW and RE Log C is really nice too. So I would say if you have an S52X, if you're looking for like a drastic image quality difference, I don't think you'll find it. But if you have nothing and you're looking and you're gonna shoot 24 frames a second most of the time, I think it's a good pickup. I still want Blackmagic to allow us to use a LUT and power grades that travel with the file. Basically allow the node tree of what you did in each node. Oh, that would be sick. Depends on what you want. 24 to 70 is good. 28 to 45, 1.8 is good too. My GS stared at me, wondering I'm not paying attention to her. I told her, don't worry, baby Kofi might get us $2. I'll take some of Mac's super chat. Cam, the Canon T2i. I'm in a similar boat. I think Sigma is the way to go, especially if the Pixis is going to get autofocus. I think the 24 to 70, but I'm new to LF, so I heard that's gonna appear wider. Yeah. I'm new to. I think you meant to say L mount. I don't know when the Pixis is going to get autofocus, but I heard eventually. Cam, are you blowing another embargo? Hey, Cam, you deserve that shot. A 55 millimeter sensor is wild. See, there's like that is a point of like that's a rental camera for me. Like I'm not gonna go past that point. Also, excuse me for 2 seconds, because Enhanced Studios. Perfect. Got somebody for some of these side-by-sides for tomorrow. We're going to do some stuff with the R5C, the C80, and the C50. Just shoot at lower base ISOs and add more lights. Yes, I do that often. Cam asking difficult questions. Currently based on taste, gimbal or Steadicam. I want to learn how to do Steadicam so badly. I don't have the money to buy a Steadicam, and maybe I'll rent one and try to learn. But I will say, personally, I want to learn how to do Steadicam. Just starting out, would you go with the Sony FX30 or the Nikon ZR? Hal, if you want complete honesty, I would go with the ZR, knowing what I know now. Keeping in mind, you are not somebody that is starting out that plans on working in the workflow where Sony cameras are requested. For example, I don't know if you guys remember Pat Greenhall. He used to make a lot of YouTube content, but he's in the automotive space, and now he's just working as a commercial director. But he asked, I have a shoot with him with Audi at the end of the month, and the S12, albeit is a better camera, we need to use an FX3 in order to do that. So there's some jobs where you like the right tool for that job isn't necessarily the best tool out of the crop. But if you're someone starting out on your own and you're making your own stuff, man, and there's no like industry standard of what you need, I would get the ZR. You're going to get a lot of free money. Oh, it died. It died. Now, to be fair, I'm using a Sony FX6 BPU 35, which is a 35 watt battery. Actually, I should have probably used a 100 or something. But that 35 watt battery, I think, lasted less than a half hour. which means that if I had, this was like 95 watt. Let's see how long that file was. So after playing 8K Blackmagic Raw 8:1 compression, which is normally what I'm going to shoot, on a 35 watt battery, I got 30 minutes straight. Which would mean, I guess, if you extrapolate that to like a 100 watt, it's about an hour and a half. Plus or minus some loss. So yeah, you're looking at an hour and a half. Hey, what's going on, Wayne? Long time no see. What are some tips to start creating content? I heard you say you planned a lot of your videos out before starting, but didn't have enough context. You need to develop that. Yeah, sure. So when I started making YouTube content, basically what I did was I made like separate. I'll go back even farther. So there's a saying that like my mom used to say, and like the easiest way to eat an elephant was one bite at a time. So the idea for that was I had like 100 video ideas that I wanted to do, but instead of saying like I want 100 video ideas in like filmmaking, for example, I had 10 ideas in 10 different categories. And then sometimes like one idea category had like 20 ideas. So for example, I was working a lot with the FX6. I was doing a lot of ad stuff, a lot of commercial stuff. So I had 20 video ideas of the Sony FX6, but then I also had the Sony FX3 as like a secondary camera. So then I did 20 videos on the Sony FX3, and then that leaves 60 videos. And then I had, well, maybe go like 15 BTS videos. And then as you're doing that, as you compartmentalize things, you have some targets you have to hit by the end of the year. And then you also break them down on what you have to do per month. So in a year, I would like in a month per se, whatever 20 divided by 12 is, which is like 1.5 or 1 3/4. On average, I'd have to release 1 to close to 2 FX6 videos in a month, which is, in retrospect, considering I released 9 videos in 14 days, that's not bad. And then I had to do 2 FX3 videos in the same month, which also was not that bad. BTS videos are easy because you just yap. You're just yapping. So stuff like that. So that's the way that like I pieced myself up into getting there. So wait on the A7 IV or buy on the S1 II. If you don't have an immediate need, I just chill out. Again, because some people are new in the chat right now. There's more people than there was when I started. Anything that I am talking about between the Canon C50, the Pixis, whatever the case is not a bid for you to drop everything that you're doing and buy it today. You can just chill out, bro. A lot of these videos get watched a year later and still deliver value, and you're not going to miss anything not being the first one to get a camera. But what I'd love you guys to do is have as much information as humanly possible. And if that wasn't the case, then I wouldn't make 45-minute videos on these cameras. Which camera are you using low light? Tim's full 12K. He out there with the Ursa Cine 12K. He's shooting way more often than I am. Hey man, what anime do you think has cinematography that needs to be studied? Watch Demon Slayer movie. I was gonna just say Demon Slayer. If I was to say anything, I would agree 100%. If you're someone who is a big film nerd, Demon Slayer is an unreal movie. Or Unreal series. Sorry, I didn't say movie. Unreal Unreal anime to get into, but it also has a movie that's currently out in theaters, which actually surpassed Superman at the box office. What's going on, Kyle? Does L mount have greater potential than E mount? Enoch, I think that's the wrong question. Depends on what lenses you're looking for, man. I like, even if I had said yes, if you bought a 24-70, a 35 millimeter, a 50 and 85, and a 7200, it wouldn't have made a difference. However, there's probably more to add on L mount because of the L mount alliance, but also that's to say that Sony's already there. Like if you're in second place, you have more to gain. If that makes any sense. Tim, I know you're a study cam guy, and I'm jealous. Yeah, how much longer will you be on? Like 45. Actually, what time is it now? Yeah, it's 8:30. 45 minutes. I'm gonna go to bed early today because I woke up at 4 in the morning. I had to shoot at 9:30, and I didn't go back to sleep. I just kind of started my day from there. And also, I'm pretty sure I have to upload footage because the robot shoot we did was fire. I wish we had more time. That actually, like the robot shoot actually might make me want to do music videos. I'm not gonna lie. Nikon ZR straight away. You'll have great audio, imaging, stills, a great entry point. Yeah, there's a lot of upside on the ZR, and also you could just use Sony lenses. You could just get an adapter. What's your experience of the checking cam? Looks good for 5K. I've used the Ronin 40 a few times actually. I like it a lot. I've always had it at a time frame where I didn't need it. And it becomes really, really, really hard to kind of get a really good opinion on it because I've always had like shoots that aren't super important and then had the Ronin 40 at the same time. Wait. 74 people in the chat, only 29 likes. Hey, you heard Miggy. You heard Miggy. As far as filming quality goes, how much do you think that this new cinema line camera is an upgrade from its immediate predecessor? Are you talking about the Pixis? From the Pixis standpoint, I think if you put them both in the same room, like I've used the 6K and the Ursa Cine 12K on a shoot. I don't think you'll notice that much of a difference unless you're in incredibly extreme situations. But I will say in terms of the technology inside of it is very nice, where you're getting like it's the highest dynamic range close to like I think the Alexa. I think the Alexa is the only thing that has more dynamic range than the Ursa RGB WW sensor. The readout, if you're shooting at like 8K, decent compression, not super high frame rate, I think is as much as the FX3. It doesn't have autofocus, so I mean there's that. Then you have anamorphic support, open gate. You could live. We're gonna get back to anamorphic live streaming. That's what we're gonna do eventually. We're gonna get back to anamorphic live streaming. But yeah, I think it's a jump up from the technology perspective. But like in terms of like if I'm looking at two shots on a like graded shots in a film, I don't know if you'd be able to be like that's the Pixis and that's the 12K. Attack on Titan is also really good. Attack on Titan also has some of the best like outlook on humanities I've ever seen, which also makes you almost not like humans very much. Also, did I just make Miggy's comment box like super, super small? I did. And I don't know how to make it bigger. There we go. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, let's go. All right, perfect. I keep doing if I want the L mount to the PL mount Pixis 12K, both are good. I have the L mount and I just have a PL adapter because I could use a Mofage on it, and then if I need NDs, it'll be there. Death Note scenario, not really visual. Yeah, so Death Note is a very good story. Yes. Asuquo. Yeah, I'm very good. What was the b-boy that came? What was the b-boy that came for the shoot? Actually, it was a rapper by the name of Roheezy. He's actually my cousin, one of my cousin's best friends, and I think was his best man at his wedding. And I totally forgot. If you ever watch, I think it's like the Battle Rap League. He's in it, and he's actually so dope. And the song went hard. Like we have this one. So we're basically what we're trying to do is we were trying to mimic the push-ins on the robot from the Kendrick Lamar Humble video. And the very last take, we have this one thing where the camera's like kind of dollying like really, really slow because the song starts slower. And then the beat drops and the camera zooms in like 5 feet, super, super fast, in focus, right to his face when he drops a line. It's going to look sick. That's all I'm going to say. It looks really dope. Oreo, which do you shoot more, L or PL? If L, go with that. Yeah, so that's... I'm popping off tonight. Miggy said I ain't taking no prisoners. Henoch, Elmon gives us something special if implemented correctly. Blackmagic for Cine, Lumix as everyday camera with really good Lumix F. Yeah, so Lumix does have really good f1.8 lenses. If I or my pipe dream was ever to work with the guys that do feature films or work for James Gunn, what would be professional voice as a starting point? I don't know because I've never been there. And anything I could tell you would just make me an asshole. But I would just say start working on your own stuff. If that's the thing. If you want to work with James Gunn, I don't know how old or young you are, but James Gunn might be a really old man by the time you are there. So I would maybe the thing with filmmaking YouTube, especially like at the Hollywood level too. Sorry, I just came to this realization because it was a conversation I had. How do I say this? If you want to get to that particular side of filmmaking, there isn't a tutorial on YouTube that is going to get you there. Unfortunately. There isn't one, because the things that you have to do to get to that level in Hollywood as it exists right now are things that 99% of people aren't going to want to do, because it has nothing to do with lighting. It has nothing to do with technical skills. Um, it almost has nothing to do with a lot of like leadership quality stuff. You have to be willing to sacrifice a lot of things that people don't like letting go of in order to get there. Because sometimes you might be on set on a film, not getting paid very much for 2 years, and you just have to be okay with that. Um, I was talking on a podcast a little while ago, and like one of the things I said is like a tutorial that people should have on YouTube and like that style of filmmaking is like how to deal with not calling your mother for 6 months because you were working on a feature and you got too busy and you forgot. Like stuff like that, right? There's a lot of stuff in like that level of Hollywood that requires a lot of sacrifices in your personal lifestyle, which YouTube won't teach you. And for the most part, most people want to be able to have the creativity and some of the benefits of being a filmmaker, but not necessarily get all the way up there. It's kind of the same as like most people want to go to the gym and be in shape. Not everybody wants to go to the Olympia. However, looking up to Olympians is very nice because you could see kind of how far things can go. But most people will land on just being in shape in the summer. I hope that made sense. Yeah, Death Note is good. Is a good use of composition and color. Death Note's also very good at being able to do conflict. Death Note does conflict very well, and like deceptions, and like there's a lot of like twists and turns in the story. Like Death Note's a good story. I wouldn't necessarily call it a visual masterpiece in my opinion, but I would say in terms of like being able to make you think one thing and then completely turn it on its head and mess your life up, Death Note is great for that. Also, I have these Allen keys. If you guys don't mind me getting my Ursa, I'm going to take the top handle off, and then I'm going to show you what this Pixis rig looks like. Also, don't ignore LPL because you can use PL to LPL adapter and use ARRI, for example. Yeah, that's true. One Piece is everything. Yeah, One Piece is everything because it's been on. One Piece, I think, is it as old as The Simpsons? Somebody look that up because I feel like One Piece is as old as The Simpsons. Yeah, that's also true. Give people to give a shit. What made you go with Blackmagic for your personal camera package over Sony? I think I think as I started taking on less client work, I have a personal attachment to having image quality. And when I had the Sony cameras, one of the things I needed was like I just needed autofocus to work. Like it was one of the things like where I needed a camera like to just be good enough, right? The autofocus had to just be good enough. And when I started using the Blackmagic cameras, and I guess indirectly I could thank my sister for it. I was shooting in West Africa. We were just kind of messing around because I had the full frame 6K, and I just shot a couple shots of my younger sister, and the image and the skin tones looked like so good, and I was like, wait a second, I my FX3 never looked like that. And my FX6 doesn't look like that when I do stuff. And I started to understand things like color fidelity and like skin tones and tonalities and highlight roll-offs. So the image on the Blackmagic cameras look really, really good. But the concessions you have to make up are not having autofocus or not having IBIS. But the more jobs that I took where like I either had a teammate or teammates that I was working with and those other people, the less that started to matter, which made the Blackmagic and the image quality a little bit more viable. So hang on a second. It's not. It came out in 1998. Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Death Note came out in 1998. I forgot. I know that. It made sense, and I really appreciate your advice. By the way, I'm 33. Okay, so you're not super young. You're the same age as I am. But I had to wait this long before I could go to college, and I was looking forward to getting to go to college for something like film. I would still go. I would still go. I just like if your North Star is I want to work with James Gunn and be in that Hollywood thing. I don't know, like especially how the industry is now. I don't know if that's the thing because I don't know if like I don't even know if the roadmap is even the same anymore on how to get to Hollywood because I think a lot of things are changing. So I would still go because there's benefits to going to film school, like being able to have network and being able to work in like those workflows and know how to do it well. Um, but I just don't know what happens after. And a lot of film students that I know either don't do film anymore or they just get out and start freelancing and they're like, oh, I learned way more in like 6 months of freelancing than I did in film school. So it's kind of a toss up. But that's not me telling you not to go to school. Cowboy Bebop and Big O have great plot twists. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I finally made it to a live. Yeah, let's go. What's the most compact rig you use on the Pixis? If you give me a minute, I'll tell you. I'm back. I was having a little bit of a time getting this Pixis monitor off. Do I need another friggin'... Oh, God. Okay, hang on one second. Looking forward to receiving my ZR on before the 20th. Will be good combo with the Red X with the Z6 III. Yes. Man, I'm excited because I think we've hit the vanishing point where I think all cameras are good. And I think the next wave is going to be things like usability features that are going to be really nice. But at the same time, what I will say is that when all image quality is good, as someone who makes a lot of their bones talking about cameras, I'm okay not talking about cameras for a while and then just talking about the stuff that we make with them. That working in Hollywood take is so on point. It's not technical skills. It's being obsessed with movies and being willing to sacrifice everything to do it. Yes. And I would say even for myself, the amount of lifestyle stuff I already give up doing YouTube, I don't think I'd be willing to work into Hollywood in that workflow. Because if you've ever, like most people that I know that are like there, have problems with relationships, have problem maintaining relationships, have family members that they haven't talked to in a long time. There's like other lifestyle stuff that hasn't been taken care of, or like have injuries or they have health issues because you're so obsessed with film that you kind of deteriorate yourself in order to get there. Like that's something that you have to consider. Now, to the same point, and I think this is also where we get to the other side of the coin where it gets a little bit toxic, is just because you are unwilling to do that doesn't mean you're not a filmmaker. And I think for a long time, people didn't reconcile those two things. I think people mostly thought that you have to do that in order to be a filmmaker and you can't do this and make projects on here and still be able to have access to that title. And people that were doing that saw YouTubers and now they're saying, well, you didn't give up, you don't take as much of the sacrifice, so therefore you can't, how can you call yourself that thing? And that's where we get a little bit in the weeds, right? So I think for most people, even on YouTube, as you're learning stuff, you're still like the access to the identity, I think is something people have a big hang up about, but the sacrifice that it requires to get even to like, even if 80% there, you could ask, if you know people in film, ask them how their marriage is going, or ask them the last time they called their mom, and they're probably not going to get a very happy answer. No, One Piece. Oh yeah, no, One Piece is old as shit, bro. But yeah, I guess you're right. So what's the best running gun setup then for cameras right now? I would love if we did this in 2025 and we understood that context matters and there's no such thing as the best of anything. There are things that'll be better at one thing than the other in certain situations, but there is no blanket term for the best of anything. If there is, it's an opinion. So, but I don't have an opinion on the best run and gun setup because for the most part, all of the run and gun setups can be made into the best run and gun setup depending on what your run and gun jutsu is. Yeah, college and film school does not mean instant access to Hollywood, and I think some people um have come to terms with that and realize that. When did Simpsons come out, Miggy? Was that before 98? I honestly don't remember when the Simpsons started. True, that would be nepotism. That is a key to access Hollywood. I mean, yeah, that's fair. Story is king. Yes. However, I will say telling stories about cameras are fun too. Like if something happens to me that's funny and silly when I was using like an Ursa, which is like the basis of YouTube videos, is like funny stories that happen with using a camera. Like that's still a story. I think we also like the polarize like it's polar on two sides where yes, what you do with the camera is more important than the camera itself, but also sometimes getting the camera is the story. Um and like when we say story is king, like it's sometimes it's as easy as this. And it's not necessarily story, communication. Effective communication is key. I wish we could rebrand that, but it's not gonna happen. Do you know why they don't make an adapter for the L to PL that has the lens data? I don't. I don't know. And maybe it's because camera bodies themselves sometimes don't have the electronic contact, so I think it depends on the camera. If you can get to USC or NYU for film, that pipeline into the industry is going to school with people who become big names. It's pretty common. Yes, Banana, that is true. I'd also say though, there's a pretty reasonable percentage of people that doesn't happen for, which I think is because film school's expensive. So it's like if you play college football, like some people will go to the NFL, but like in a draft year, there's like 4 of them. But to your point, but like it's both sides. I'm playing devil's advocate, but I'm just balancing the scale on both ends. I do really need IBIS for my camera if I'm doing street photography in a cloudy day or a normal. Hang on. Do I really need street photography if I'm doing a cloudy day? My lens has no IS because I found my image is a bit blurry when I had handheld, so I don't know what's wrong. Check your shutter speed. I use a 50R that doesn't have IBIS, and I, for the most part, don't have too many problems. Terry Wolford sent a text to our group chat. He's almost at 100,000 subs. Actually, if y'all aren't subscribed to Terry Warfield, go and do that. But okay, I'm gonna try to figure out. I gotta find like a tweezer or like a little Allen wrench, a little tiny one, so I can get the Pixis monitor off here. Also, the relation between us videographers and cinematographers know the business, the numbers. Even that line's blurred, man. That line's super, super blurred, especially if you're doing like, especially some of the new client type of work you're doing, like the videographer, cinematographer, like it's the clients don't give a shit. I'm not even gonna lie to you. If you can, they don't care. So there are clients like, and I mean clients where like your business is operating at about like anywhere between $75,000 and $200,000 a year. They don't care. They don't care about the semantics between cinematographer and videographer. They care about the job being done. And if that means that like you're running around running gun, and some of my commercial jobs have been the exact same workflow as me doing a YouTube video, to be honest, and they pay just as much. So that is something. Yeah, raw is fine. Yeah, you'd be so surprised how many I haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm not gonna have any thing. Agree, usability and quality of life improvements are what I'm expecting from the FX3 Mark II. Multiple USB-C ports, bounce phone. Yeah. Codecs make me look cool, yeah. Dang, last stream going strong. Yeah, we usually go on for 2 hours. Honestly, I just go until my girlfriend comes home because then I know that's when I should probably go to bed. She doesn't tell me when to go to bed, but I know that like if I stay up longer than this, I'm gonna go to bed late, and then I'm gonna wake up, feel like crap, and then she's gonna be like, "Well, why did you go to bed at 2 in the morning?" And I'm like, "Because I'm an idiot." So, oh, definitely, I agree with you. Stories, everything, and filmmaking, branding. Believe it or not, this is storytelling. Storytelling. Yes. So I think one of the things. Hang on. I'm trying to find myself a pair of pliers to get this little thing off. Ow, son of a... Oh, what the frig was it? Someone put this friggin' through the box, sticking out, and I grabbed this with my hands. I got friggin' stuck myself. Damn it. That hurt so much. That was a piss off. I'm sorry. That was me. I broke character. Damn, that fucking hurt. What the hell was that? Yes, storytelling is just a fancy word for effective communication using visual language. And I think, again, that's like, there's so many parts where like the conversation about storytelling and filmmaking gets muddled is when we think that like all of these esoteric things are what makes a good storyteller. And I'm like, it's not. It's literally like if you watch. Sorry, I'm all over the place, and I have to send a text message really quickly. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? I don't know how to use a phone. I don't know how to use a phone. Create new contact. That was a sound. All right, I got to send this text real quick. Okay. Effective like communication is essentially storytelling, and I think the story is king part is how you communicate, not what you communicate in a lot of ways. Hang on a second. I don't have the Allen key to get the locking part of the USB adapter thing off my Pixis. Hang on a second. Oh, we are almost there, guys. Okay, I can't take this off yet. So what I'm doing right here off screen is I'm taking off the Pixis monitor. But yeah, effective communication is basically another word for saying storytelling, realistically. 3 a.m. here, and I have to wake up at 6. Love you, Kofi. Go to bed, bro. I did that last night. It's terrible. Is the reason why rental houses most lean towards Sony versus other brands. I was talking to Andre. You've been to Viva, I'm pretty sure. I was talking to Connor about this today, and we kind of came to the conclusion that the reason why like Sony is so ubiquitous around the like the video production market is because they made a camera that was like just good enough at the right time, and truthfully, producers don't know any better. Like a producer usually will say like get a Sony FX3 because they probably heard it a bunch of times and they said like they're not like, oh, I want the camera because like all of its features, because like most producers have no idea what cameras are. So so most producers will just kind of go with the recommendation and say we want that camera. We don't even know why, which is the same reason why like Ari and Red did well for a long time. Yes, image quality, but like agencies knew that it was good rather than whether or not it actually was useful for what they needed. And through that, what ended up happening is that Sony picked up on that, and that became the FX3, kind of got added into that mix. It's that the data pass through the IDPL requires extra work and wiring. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. I just discovered your channel a few days ago, and I love your content. Thank you, man. We try to have fun here. The whole point about this whole filmmaking stuff and talking about cameras is, one, I like being nerdy because it distracts me from life's other problems that I don't care to deal with at the moment. And also, it's fun. Is that in the... Oh, yeah, it is. I was interested in going to LAFS. Someone else... Yeah, LA Film School, sorry. I don't know much about film school because I never went. So I hope someone else is able to provide more information than I am, because I am a little ignorant to that. I think anyone who makes videos at somewhat of a high level and just creates is a filmmaker. It's just a term. I completely agree with you. Some people that have less than savory thoughts about my existence may disagree with you. And I think that is okay. Hang on a second. Oh, there we go. We're almost we're so close to almost being there. There we go. All right. All right. I'm going to take... I also ripped most of my thumbnail off yesterday. And not thumbnail like YouTube thumbnail, like my thumb is all screwed up. I've been having a weird day, guys. Having a weird week. Give me an FX3 II or FX6 II with 6K output and I would be happy. Cherry on the top is B-Raw via software update. Yeah, I would be like, it's stupid, and I really hope I kind of hope they don't come out with an FX6 II this year, because I'm pretty sure I very openly said on a stream that if they get an FX6 Mark II comes out and they fix like 3 features that I really wanted to fix, I would just buy one on principle. I no longer feel that way anymore because I don't have any more money, and thusly, if they release an FX6 Mark II this year, I'm going to be sad because then I have to actually do it. Clients don't. Agencies do with respect to the pay scale. Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, clients don't know. Like clients would hear like FX3 and then be like, yeah, let's get that, and then like have no idea what that is. Because for the longest time before the FX3 came out, people were like, can you bring a Canon? And I'm like, a Canon? Be specific. I'm like, no, I want like, can you bring the Canon? Is the Canon good? And I'm like, I don't. Help me out. What does that mean? All right, perfect. There we are. This is the Pixis 6K. This is going to be like the kind of compact rig. I got to find a better. I wish these batteries, like to keep it compact, were better capacity. So that would just be the rig over here. And that looks really nice. This is like a super nice little tiny compact kit. And I could keep a couple BPU batteries in my fanny pack. And then I'd be totally fine with this. So that's going to be how that's going to look. Sorry, we finally got here. We finally got to the Pyxis 12K, Pixis monitor, Thypox Samara Cs. I just got to get like a tripod plated on that guy, and then I could run around with that Manfrotto 1 tripod, and that's a pretty compact setup. And what's nice about the Pixis versus the Ursa is the Pixis has 3.5mm jack in ports in them, which means I could use all the mics I have. I hear them say it all the time. Can't we just hire 21-year-olds to press record? They don't see the artistry and the skills behind it. No, they don't. And also, to be fair, if they don't have the budget to, I'd rather them not. The reason why is it's not that they don't respect it. Like they don't respect it because they don't have the budget for it. And I think one of the things that people are doing right now, especially, is the cost cutting. And if I'm in business, I don't like. I'm not like I care about the artistry, but not enough if it's going to affect my bottom line. Go, you take screenwriting classes? No, I'm a terrible writer. I'm not a good screenwriter at all. That's why I'm in camera department, bro. That's why I DP stuff. I'm fucking awful at writing. I let a director tell me what to do, and then I figured it out with gear and lighting and stuff. All right, brother, I got to run. Hey, thank you, man. Mac, since I don't remember what tier you are in the membership, but I will have a Dropbox for the Vespa 2s, and I'm working on the FX3 FX3 C50 Dropbox folder for raw footage as well. I'm on the East Coast, so I don't know how much about LAFS, but scope out their alumni and see if you can get TV work for frequency. Yeah, you could do that too. That actually is a good idea. I think it was 6 a.m., mostly sleep at 2 a.m. Yeah, it's not good, man. You're slowly killing yourself, and I'm learning that really quickly. And as me, who keeps seeing high rock stuff, and I want to learn and do high rocks one day, I have to sleep, and I have to drop a lot of weight. So I got to do that. That's how we have how we market ourselves. We have a sea of 1,000 videographers. As you build your reel, you're really competing with the lowest bids. Rat race. I definitely see the art, and they don't. Yes, that is you being able to see the art. And again, I'm not saying that you're wrong for that. But after working with a lot of clients, like I need to sell a product, and I think that's it, right? Like the hardest part about this is when you want to get paid, the art part is going to take a hit because people don't even buy the art sometimes. And brands don't buy the art sometimes. And sometimes the artistry of things is for you and it's not for the client. And I think that's a line that we have to figure out. If we're trading solving the problem for artistic expression, that's probably why clients are going to have a mismatch of alignment. Because as much as you want to portray art and craft, if I'm a business, I'm like, hey, no, just complete the job that I need. Because if you fulfill your artistic vision and I make less money, then the bottleneck ends up being the artist. And that's what happens sometimes. That's not to say I disagree with it. I'm just saying that is what happens. Can you make a live action anime skit of some kind? I thought about doing that. I'm not good at acting. I might have to get someone else to do it. Have you heard of any upcoming firmware update for the ZR? I have not. I will ask. I have to ask my Nikon rep about those cinema lenses they started teasing too, because since the ZR video, I haven't talked to him. Not like on purpose. Like there's nothing bad. I've been working a bunch, so I haven't really checked in. But I'll ask. Hi, I sold my A6700 because I never take it anywhere. I want something compact and small to record memories, and I have 3 choices: the Pocket 3, the Action 5, or just upgrade to the 7 Pro. Any thoughts? If you want my honest opinions, That 17 Pro is kind of fire, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. That 17 Pro is kind of fire. Sorry, I had sent a text. Also, when I do these live streams, like I'm doing stuff in the background. I'm so sorry. Having to do this month will have 19 uploads. I think 19. Hang on a second. Where am I at now? The Manfrotto 1 tripod video comes out tomorrow. That's already scheduled. I just have to get a thumbnail tomorrow morning. I have handheld for big camera rigs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22. Okay, so 22 is a lot. I don't know if I'll get through all 22. I think some of these I'm not going to have 22 with. There's on my Milanote, I have 22 videos. Some of them are really easy. Like 3 of them are rig builds. Like one's the Pixis first impressions where I'll take it on like 3 shoots before I'd say anything. Ursa Cine 12K rig build. Hopefully I get the parts this week. I have like a photo dump on the seat. Yeah, okay. Some of these aren't like super crazy, but that's a lot. Okay, let me keep going here. So now I'm gonna start saying S12 and every set going on. It might work, but also like there's a new way that video production shows up, and I mentioned this earlier a couple hours ago when I was talking about the fact that a lot of people that are filmmakers are now working on channels as DPs. So if you've ever watched Life of Riza, my friend Nicole actually DPs for her. So if you notice, like Life of Riza's videos look like short films, that's not by accident. Nicole's actually DPing them and shooting them like short films. If you guys are familiar with Leo Keller, he's from I think it's Austria or Germany. Really young kid, incredibly fucking talented. But he's like, he also is kind of in that camera tech filmmaking kind of content space, but he shoots and edits videos for Matt Diavella. When I was freelancing a lot, I was working on Will Tennyson's channel. So like all of us people that were kind of in that traditional, like that wasn't that kind of traditional workflow, hasn't moved away from filmmaking, but we're just applying that skill set to YouTube because the people that have 1 million subscribers or whatever have earned enough money that they want more quality out of their videos, so they're hiring schmucks like us to shoot it. I can't remember Paige's last name, but Brady DP'd a couple of videos for her as well. So I will say that some of these tools, the reason why they're coming out is because they're starting to understand that the rest of the world exists, right? There's no industry, like the FX3 doesn't become an industry standard when people of high value YouTube channels are hiring out freelancers, which means that you can use a camera like the S12 and it actually might be the right camera for the job, especially like with the whole open gate stuff too. It depends on the type of person you are, but if you are self-motivated, maybe consider if putting that college tuition towards several shorts and a feature would be more valuable. That's true. Communication is key as well as hearing honest feedback. So if you don't have a big film group in college, it's an easy place to find that. Yes, I do like the whole, yeah. If you had to buy one camera to keep from only one brand, given how far technology has gone, what would you be? I'm assuming you would never sell it. Does it have to take photo and video? If it's just video, I would probably just keep my Pixis 12K. If I get the choice of having a video and a photo camera, honestly, I'd have the Pixis 12K and the GFX 50R. How do you feel about the use of the word cinematic? There are people who are annoyed with it, but I still find myself clicking those videos. Are you going to let Sony assault your wallet, Kofi? Sony will not be assaulting my wallet. I think I'll be like, again, after the Pixis 12K and the ZR, any other camera you see on this channel is more than likely a loaner after those 2 cameras. Not a camera I'm switching to, but more so I was asked to use it for a bit and I'm giving you the information because you guys don't have it yourselves. But I think like this is my last cinema camera for a while. I think I'm pretty confident in that unless something happens and like unless there's like a situational change or an FX6 that's like very much like the Pixis but has autofocus. But anyways, the word cinematic, I don't care. I don't know, like words in YouTube videos don't make me mad unless the YouTube video is this new wave of people making call out videos, but it's not really a call out. Sometimes it's just like a misrepresentation of somebody's character. And because the audience doesn't know any better, they take the information at face value. But outside of that, like we put cinematic in the title, it doesn't matter to me. As long as you actually like articulate what that means, I don't care. The same thing with like the FX3 killer thing, right? Like if that's your opinion, as long as you could back up that opinion, it doesn't bother me in the slightest. How do cinematographers get signed to agencies, meaning they have agents? Oh, sorry. How do cinematographers get signed to agencies, meaning they have agents? They reach out to them, but also like those cinematographers are probably working in commercial spaces already. Um, and then I get it's kind of like it's honestly the same thing as like YouTube agents, right? Like I got an agent because I was already making my own stuff on my own, and then when doing that, that was successful enough that an agency brings you on, right? So kind of the same thing. But you have to be already working on commercials, and like you're probably working like here and there for production companies or agencies and stuff like that. So I shot an event a few days ago and they requested an FX3. It's some marketing lady who knows nothing about cameras. Yeah, that's because they know the word. um, like the second that like another camera gets as much press as like an FX3, that's where you're like people like that's what I'll say. Like and I've had jobs like this where it says like FX3 or equivalent. The or equivalent is everything else. Are you planning on adding a shotgun for running gun rub? So what's your plan? Yeah, so I am. I got this little guy. This is gonna be a shotgun mount on a rod plate, and I'm just gonna put it like right. Probably gonna be like right on here. Like I'm just gonna put it like right onto here, and as you can imagine, I'd have a little shotgun mic on that side. Hang on one sec. I'm also trying to line up a shoot at 9 o'clock at night. You guys are gonna get a really funny R5C and C80 video. Would you get the tilted BP to V-mount adapter? I got it for the FX6, so I wouldn't mind getting it again. So, Kofi, you scope out the Core SWX BPU 98 watt hour. I have not. I should pick one up. I have like these guys. These are like I don't even know what they're called, man. Like they're like aftermarket batteries that I got on Amazon. These are BPU 100s. I guess it says BPU 100s. I don't really know if it really is. It dies, and it's not the best battery in the world, but I got one of these guys. I got a couple of these guys that I run around with, and then I have the FX6 BPU battery that I've been using. So hopefully, using the three of those will get me maybe get me half a day, and then I'll work my way up. I like with the Pixis, I'll just work my way up into building the kit out with jobs and stuff. Is there an adapter to change the Pixis V mount to Pixis to a V mount battery or gold mount? Yeah, there is. Tilta makes one. Yeah, Tilta makes one. I have absolutely nothing against people who don't go to film school. It's just something I've always, yeah, then go. Sorry, that wasn't meant to be saying aggressive. Sorry. If you really want to go to film school, I would just go, man. Especially like if you could, like, again, it's the same thing with buying a camera, man. Like if you could afford it, hang on a second. If you want to go and you can afford it, man, same as buying a camera, go for it. Don't let this friggin' live stream chat sway you in any way. And if in fact, I think a lot of people are kind of giving advice in terms of what to do. But yeah, that was just my personal opinion because I didn't go to film school. So that's not to say that you shouldn't go. I got mine. The fan is kind of loud. Sorry, I'm lining up a shoot. The monitor is kind of loud. I'm not gonna lie. The monitor does have some volume to it, but it's not like on body microphone. I don't hear anything. That's not too bad. I'm going to be using BPUs for this guy. It's actually normal for me to sleep naturally. Oh, you're one of those people that have like there's like a gene thing where like some people get as much rest in like 4 hours as 8, which makes you a superhero, actually. What European football team do you support? Please don't say Arsenal. I'm not going to say any football team because I don't watch. I mean, I call it soccer. I don't watch that. Hey, let's go. Mac Chaudhry upgraded his membership. Mac is a channel sponsor now because he has spent way too much money on me. But if you guys want to jump up to the OG tier of the channel sponsorships, you can. Channel memberships, you can. That's where I give out raw footage at the end of each month. So that way you guys can play around with some of the footage from some of these videos. You'll enjoy it. You'll be surrounded by like-minded people depending on where you go. NYU, USC, outside of that, it's tougher. Fair. Just saw Facebook post today from a musician asking for a video professional, but no budget. So many people commenting looking to get the gig despite there being no money. They want a scissor reel. Yeah, people. I think people are trying to be competitive and build their portfolios up too, right? Like, the tough part is like I don't know if that's the meta now. Like I don't know. And I think because I've done such I've done so many years of like hybrid content work that like I take on less clients overall every year. But and that kind of gives me the lever. Like I don't know what it's like to have to like struggle to get clients because I don't take that many. People are just trying to be competitive, and I think it's fine, but also like it gets into a weird place where people will start exploiting other people, which is rough. Oh, there's a saying about that: two for you and one for me. I take 2 paying jobs and 3rd paying dose. Yeah, that's fair. Bro, look into the Lumix ZS. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the camera. Hey, Banana, take care, man. Werner Herzog slammed the use of AI and a new cinematic release is saying that the films which make use of technology look completely dead. I could side with that. I like using it for pre-production stuff. I don't like using it for finished work, and I don't think I ever will. And if I ever do, it's like a parody of AI. Like I'm not using it as like a whole like AI is actually helping. I'm making fun of it, but I'm not totally against that. Uh, Travels Productions. Nikon rumors say SSD recording via firmware update is coming after release. I'm hoping, and the conversation about OpenGate is somewhere on someone's table. I love Life of Riza. I always feel like I'm watching a movie. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys follow Nicole Shapiro on YouTube, but she shoots a lot of stuff. Like I first AC'd a couple of times for one of the commercials they did for Spotify, and it came out really good. So yeah. How you thought about getting the 17K? No. It's just too much. Like again, like my ceiling is $12,000. Like I won't buy a camera package outside of that because it's at that point it's diminishing returns, and I know personally I'm not going to use it that often unless I had a ton of work. I would rent one if there was a project that called for it, but yeah. Chandler Goodrich, yeah, media degree. I think media programs depends on where you go because sometimes they're different than going to film school. My emotion is cinematic. That's hilarious. The only FX3 killer is the FX3A. No, you know what the killer is? The iPhone. That's the FX3 killer. No, I'm just kidding. Thoughts on the Blazer beater? $500 in the cart. Aside from you, Kofi, you also have to tell me in Uncle Kofi voice. And if you want to get the Blazer beetle, you want to get the lens, do not let Uncle Kofi tell you what to buy. If you can afford it, it's going to make you happy, when you buy the beetle, we call it a kama. A kama will mean I like it, I love it. It warms my heart. So if you want to get it, then I will not stop you. So, sorry, I haven't done that in a while, so the accent probably sounds a little weird. The 17 Pro Max, shout out though, yo. I use that camera. Like I like legitimately in my C50 video, there's the most amount of iPhone footage I think I've ever used. Mostly for BTS, but like I use a ton of iPhone stuff. Honestly, I don't get the FX3 hype. Finally had a chance to use one last weekend. I will never use one again if I could avoid it. Had more cables than Radio Shack on it. It's so annoying. The FX3, here's the thing. The FX3 worked, like, was an incredibly key camera in 2021 to 2024. Like, unequivocally, there wasn't another camera that was that kind of spec, that was in that kind of ballpark. Also, hang on a second. I have to do something very quickly. I have to book a studio tonight. Okay, Wade. Studios. I'm going to go to... Sorry, guys. You are watching me frantically... This is YouTube, baby. I got to do... And it'd also be just like a fun interview kind of thing. Yeah, I'll do that. 3 rentals, Studio 2, select... Wednesday, no. I need this at 12 o'clock. Select and continue. You know me. I am Kofi, Uncle Kofi. I'm putting all my info and just booking a studio for crew size, approximately like 4 people. Indicate your backdrop color. Ooh. Backdrop color, guys. What are we going with? We're going to blue, Mardi Gras, marine blue. Hey, you know what? I'm going to say like marine blue. That's what I'll do. Terms and conditions. By proceeding. Yeah, there we go. The things... Guys, I never want anyone to complain. These videos are free to consume, and I'm about to drop a frig load of money to make a video for free for you guys to watch on YouTube. And we are booked. We are booked. But yeah, so the FX3 came at a really opportune time for a lot of people, especially being able to get the most out of a camera, being compact and small. I think, again, like in so many things has happened between the Sony FX3 coming out when it did and today. And I think because there's things that are more competitive today, that's what's happening. Your beats have been out for when I'm still on one. Honestly, I was talking to my buddy Rohan today when we were shooting the music video. I might try a 24-hour stream, like just out of nowhere. So it might just keep me here for a whole day. I have a Core BP98. It's fantastic. Better than that Mutiny's Core snap plate with snap batteries. No V mount needed. Just snap. Oh yeah. So I do have that. I had it on the last stream, but I have one of those batteries. It's really nice. How do you batch your YouTube content? So what I normally will do is I'll have like a day of A-roll, and I'll try to find a day where like I find I have the most energy to like just do this all day. I'll batch, and what I'm doing now is like I'm organizing the footage first, and then when I'm doing my A-roll, I'm literally watching it, and then I'll like kind of say what my thoughts are. So like, if for example the C50, like I have different folders of like things I wanted to cover, and if those folders are full, then I just talk about it, and I'll cut the A-roll up, and then I'll leave spaces. Like I'll literally put like adjustment layers over top of it of where B-roll would fit in terms of the timing, and then I put it over there, and then my final step is going to be titles, and then video comes out. Yes, Collins, you're absolutely right. It's like business school, man. Like it has nothing to do, like you learn a lot about business, or you learn a lot about economics, but I would say my business school stuff had more contacts than it did being like a business expert. Film school has its benefits. It helped me tremendously getting repetitions, perfect skills, and then have its feedback. Just remember to learn business development. Yes, business school students, like film school students, should take business. Dang, you still on here? Yeah, of course I am. Mac Chaudhry sent a super chat, so I stay here for as long as up to 3 hours if Mac sends a super chat, and he does every time. Did you see Savage Filmmaker's take on Lumix? He said the autofocus wasn't close to Sony or Canon at all. That's a matter of opinion. I didn't have the proper autofocus settings on my S1 II, and then I dialed it in, and I've been fine. So it's not, object tracking is not the greatest. I will say that. And I think that was like kind of across the board. Everyone said like object tracking is not great, but on faces, like outside of me doing like this, it actually focuses on my face so much, and I set it to lock on. Like it's set it to lock on right now. So like normally if it was on like responsive or some stupidness, that wouldn't keep my face. So I don't know. I've been fine. Once I've dialed in my autofocusing settings for what I need it for, I've been okay. Some people haven't, so kind of depends on how you use it. We have the same color iPhone 17 case, the Spartan 17. If you guys don't know what that means, my iPhone 17 Pro Max is green case, orange body, like the Master Chief visor. I will also go soon. Like, I'll probably head out in a bit. I'll probably catch up on the chat, give a couple minutes. Although thoughts of B-Raw coming, overall thoughts of B-Raw coming to the Sony cameras. I just hope the quality is up to par with the dedicated Blackmagic cameras. With this update, I don't believe we'll see a new FX line time anytime soon. Isaac, the last part, I think you're correct. I don't like. I mean, Sony's pretty open about that. If you don't read the writing on the wall, like they're not in a rush to make another FX line camera. One, there's parts of the industry that I don't think are doing so hot, so trying to make a camera to cater to that wouldn't be smart right now. Two, so many people have Sony FX line cameras, it's insane. And the whole killer conversation is, if I had neither and I had the money, would I get something else? Probably, but that might not be the same here. But the Blackmagic RAW going on Sony cameras, I'll be honest with you, if it's going to be like other Blackmagic RAW coming to other cameras that aren't Blackmagic, it's probably not going to be as good as what everybody thinks it'll be. It'll be a little bit better maybe than ProRes RAW, maybe, because it'll give you more controls in Blackmagic, but I don't necessarily think the image is going to get that much better. When you're happy, you're opening a new camera or PlayStation. I haven't gamed in a very long time, and I'm going to try. My goal is to go kind of head to the wall for the month of October. November, I'm going to kind of keep it chill. Like, I'm not going to release too many videos. And then December kind of taper down closer to Christmas. And then from Christmas till, I'm going to see if I can do it. But I'm going to take from Christmas till February 1st completely off and do nothing and just see what happens. I read to ask, did you see the S1H2 leaks? Yeah, I did. They all look really fake, if I'm being honest. Tottenham here. Is that a place? Udo, I don't know if that's a place. Have you used a Filmbox film emulation, and do you think learning Resolve is a must for color grading? I would say if you're going to be a colorist, it's probably big advantage to learn to Resolve, because that'll probably be a program you'll use quite a bit. It's like if you're going to be an editor, like, should you learn at least like Premiere Pro or DaVinci or Final Cut? And more likely it'll be Premiere Pro or DaVinci. What else was I saying? I have not used Filmbox film emulation. I kind of made my own grade, and I just stuck to that, and I haven't really deviated from that in a while. Yes, Nicole is very, very talented, and I've known her for a very long time, and she's very good. How do you organize your life? Well, you have to do Google Calendar. Yes, I have a Google Calendar. I have a Milanote. I have notes. I have a Plot AI that, like, I could talk into it and it'll like note stuff for me, especially on calls. I have a bunch of different tools to organize my life because I'm a chaotic mess. For example, I, in the last 45 minutes, have organized 3 shoot locations, 3 talents, getting an FX3, and also doing some side-by-sides with the R5C from absolutely zero about a little while ago. So, and that's just me trying to plan this out because I'm trying to get this out of the way. Because I bring back the camera on the 10th, and by the 6th, I want to be done. All the comparison, all the stupid new YouTube stuff, and then just worry about shooting projects. All right. Some people need structure of a school to learn and motivate them to create. Other people are good at teaching. It's the same as business school, honestly. Some people are good working for business. Some people are self-motivated and they don't necessarily need school to run a business. Hey, thank you. And we are here, chalet. While we're still waiting on the Pixis and the Ursa out here. Well, you could borrow mine if you come to Canada. I'm very excited about using this. This is like a nice, like, it's still sturdy, but like, this is like, I could handhold this. The Ursa is fun to handhold for like 14 seconds, and then it hurts. Got to run. Kobe, great job as usual. Hey, thanks, man. When's the C50 review? I can tell you the playlist of videos that I have for the C50 right now, if you're very interested. I don't know when they're going to be because they're just going to be whenever I complete them. Where is it? Okay, so C50 videos. I have C50 first impressions, which C50 first impressions is just going to be open gate stuff. It's just going to be about open gate. It's not going to be anything else. And maybe like a little bit autofocus or a little bit of the IBIS stuff, but I'm going to save the IBIS stuff for Canon C50 versus the FX3, which I have like a 4-part shootout because I wanted to get variety. C50, R5C, and C80. And I'm not even going to call it a versus video. I'm just going to talk about workflow stuff. And that is, I'm shooting it tomorrow. So that'll probably come up before the FX3. One that I'm struggling with is C50 versus the S1 II. And I'm struggling with this one because trying to do 2 comparison videos in a very short period of time is really rough. And then I have like a couple like wrap-up videos that'll happen after I send the camera back, which is 10 things Canon did good and bad with the C50. And then overall, my C50 review is just going to answer really specific questions like, and I'll actually read it to you. So it's navigating menus, a body design flaw, does autofocus work on dark skin tones, full frame versus Super 35 dynamic range, is IBIS a hint, minimum effective dose when talking about IBIS. And what I mean by that is that between the weight of the C50 and the FX6, there's a point where you stopped caring that the camera didn't have IBIS and you just used it, where the FX6 is at. So at some point, how much weight do I have to add to the C50? Anyway, it's an experiment. Overheating and fan noise, which I don't think it's going to overheat. This is kind of like, it's a kind of dumb category because I know it's not going to. Power source limitations. There is some power source limitations, and it makes me mad. What's it like to color grade RAW and C-Log 2? Who do I think this camera's for? And dispelling the FX3 killer myth. And that's the C50 review. That might change, but that's the ideas I have so far. Ursa 12K versus Sony Burano, in your experience, which one is better in terms of image quality? I would say the Ursa Cine to me would have better image quality because the Burano just looks like a higher res FX6, to be honest. But again, the Burano has other things. Like it's the only camera with like IBIS and built-in NDs at the same time. So, and also you could use all the Sony glass and get a PL adapter. If you do that, it would need to be, but you need 4 cameras. So, yeah. Low-key, I hate my FX30. That's sad. I hope that's upsetting. A lot of people like it. I'm ready to grab 2 cameras, deciding between the C400, C50, or Red Komodo X ZR. As you know, to add a few more things to that ZR. Like, I mean, eventually, I think what's happening is if I'm gonna be honest, I would maybe do C400, C50 if you're a solo shooter. I'm only guessing you're a solo shooter because you're using the FX3. Or you might be one-man banding stuff. And if you need something that's going to be more fleshed out, I would maybe do C400, C50. Yeah, if you're one-man banding it, I would get the Canons. If not, and you're working with a team, I'd maybe get the Red and the Nikon. You doing a 24-hour stream will result in a DP masterclass here for it. I wish. I'm like, okay. Like, here's the thing. Like, a lot of my, like, I find, because I spent so much time trying to teach, like, regurgitating everything that I know, I still need to acquire skills still, and I haven't been doing that. So what I'm trying to do is, like, speed run that in October and then work on that in November. But also, hopefully, when some of these docs come out, which I keep saying it's the end of the month, it's going to be the end of November, probably December, if anything. We'll be able to see if I've actually learned anything. FX3 gives the Michael Bay vibe. I prefer this Canon C70. Its color science fits my vision. Then that means that's for you, bro. There's some looks of people that are like, I like that, and that's where I'm going for. I will say some of the, actually, to be fair, I literally have a DaVinci Resolve window open with C50 footage. I don't know if you guys want to see it or not. If you guys want to see it or not before I go, press a 1 in the chat and we'll do a little C50 footage looking. Does having a bigger rig help you land more jobs? Does it actually matter if you shoot with, say, rigged out Pixis compared to a mirrorless? Very much depends on the job type of, that's not a blanket statement. It very depends on the workflow you're in. So, yeah, it depends. Hey, Man Z, have a good one, man. And I hope you figure out the film school you're gonna go to. B-roll on the Sony is gonna be usable. Yeah, it will. Kofi, if we can play Halo, it's PvP. I still play it for fun. I haven't played since high school, but like Halo 2, bro, I used to be that guy at Halo 2. I haven't used it, right? What are you gonna be we're getting the pretty shorty in the skims. Oh, you mean Tiana. Behave yourself. Behave your damn self, bro. Next week. I missed it. Did you recover that footage? No, that card's gone. She's cooked. So I have to reshoot all my FX3 comparison stuff to the C50 tomorrow so that I could at least get the first impressions video out on Friday. Is the C50 a whole different sensor? Yes, actually. A whole new sensor. Yeah, it's totally like I don't think there's another camera that has it, so there's nothing to compare it to. But it looked like you like shooting on it and looking at it, it looks a lot like the C80. It's hard to explain because like when I see C-Log2 footage and I'm like grading it, I'm like, oh yeah, that looks like when I have the C70. What do you miss about from your Red KX compared to this new Pixis 12K? Nothing. I really like the Komodo X. I want to make sure that's very clear. But for how I shoot and what I needed it for, the Pixis was fine. This is going to be finer because the readout speeds are better and it's very familiar shooting modes that I had on the Ursa without having to take the Ursa out. Most people get really mad at me because I'd be lugging that Ursa all over the damn place and people are like, can you bring a smaller camera? And then I say, no. So I say it exactly like that too. Question, who's the FX3 for and who is the ZR for? Who's a Pixis for? Is there a big difference cost or does each of these cameras work for a different workflow? If not, where do you see these cameras use-wise? It's tough because it's hard to attribute something like that because people are like, once I have realized that the world of like videographers and cinematographers, there's more like in terms, if you take like people that buy cameras, right? And you make it like this much of like a little circle, you know, like a big little circle here, right? Maybe like the filmmaking enthused is like half of that circle or maybe like a third of that circle. The other 2/3 is everybody else that like doesn't have the same intentions as like wanting to be a cinematographer, videographer. So it's hard to attribute some of those things because like, you don't know, right? Like the FX3 originally was supposed to be like the FS7, but like YouTube version, and then it ends up being $5,000, and then you end up buying it. And it's supposed to be like a YouTube camera, at least a little bit, and then they realize that it's good enough to use it in other places, and then they did. So I could say like the FX3 is going to be for pretty much anyone that's going to do video at all that just needs to get the job done, but also needs to be able to have all the things to like get the job done with, right? So if you want to plug in XLR, it's a camera to work in an ecosystem together for FX line cameras. But also if you have your own personal work and you want a small footprint and not have to degrade the quality. The ZR, I think, is an entry point into Nikon cinema line. And the ZR, if anybody remembers the A7 III, the Nikon ZR is the video focused A7 III for today, if that makes any sense. And the Pixis is just for people that like are those you're working on kind of solo, you're working on small team production, because that's I run the Pixis with like a team of 3, and that's usually how I do it. You can still shoot it solo, you can still do that, but all of these you could use for everything. But I would say in terms of the branding for them is the FX3 is like a run and gun. Autofocus is great. Maybe doesn't have the best. Maybe like out of the 3 cameras has the least best image quality. But that's not important to you. What's important to you is getting the shot and getting the audio to sound good. And then the ZR is just for people that want to do that, but on an entry level at a better starting point that's newer. And the Pixis is for people that are like just starting to work with teams, or like maybe by yourself and you want really good image quality. Tottenham is a city in North London, and the EPL team. Oh, okay, that was what you meant. That's recently one of my favorite Ghanaian players. Kudos. If it helps, my aunt's married to Suli Montari. I don't know if that means a lot now in 2025, but thanks for answering my question. Also realized I've been watching over a year but never subscribe. How dare you? I'm just kidding. Adam, this is my thoughts and feelings. C50 has no IBIS filmmakers. Oh no. And anyway, adds rig. Like it's even a question. It'll be tough to see because it's a screen share, so I don't know if you'll be able to see much. Yeah, I've been doing some one-man band stuff, but I'm starting to get more into commercial projects, films this year. Next part of a 6-part series. Yeah, okay, so I would maybe take a look at that. I would take a look at that C400, C50 combo. Come in. We actually know you have real experience in long table pictures with clients versus most YouTubers. We want to see that Canon color. Okay, let's go. Oh, you were top 100? Okay, I wasn't up there yet. Rumored C50 sensor is going to be the R5, the R6 Mark II. I hope so. That'd be sick. Love using OpenGate with the Blazar 1.333. Okay, hello. Okay, hang on a second. I'm gonna try to. I'm gonna get to the bottom of these chats. Back in Toronto tomorrow. Rich, if you're back in Toronto tomorrow, send me a text message in the morning. I got to shoot at 1 o'clock that we're gonna do with some Canon stuff. Big question. What is the 3 things as a big DP on a big professional sets that you would tell newer DPs when starting out that you wish you knew when you were starting, like some do's and don'ts? I would say make friends. If you're a DP, you're going to be a leader, so learn leadership skills, learn business skills, and learn how to deal with conflict. What if the ZR was more meant to compete with Blackmagic cameras? Maybe. All you guys say the FX3 image is not that good. I didn't say that. I said between the ZR, the Pixis, and the FX3, yeah, it's not going to be that good. Like, if you took the fastest person that you know, the fastest 3 people you know, Usain Bolt is still faster than all of them. That doesn't mean your friends aren't fast. That means Usain Bolt is faster than all of them, if that makes any sense. I know 4K is a standard on cameras, but the camera space, how soon do you think 6K and 8K will be implemented in YouTube displays? It'll be a few years. Camera's only getting 6K now. I mean, we're only at 4K now, and 4K kind of became a thing people were talking about like 6 years ago. It's probably like another 4. All cameras are good now, everyone. I think if you're getting jobs based off of your talents, get the camera that's best for you. But if you want to get hired as a cam op, Sony and Reds are always wanted. Yes. If you can't cast anyone in a celebrity for minimum wage, who would you cast? Ooh. Truly? Like a John David Washington movie would be dope. Komodo X is such a pain outside of the commercial productions. Example, run and gun event video. Yeah, I tried it. It hurts. It'll get you. I like the FX3 and FX30 have time code via Sony accessory, making a complete camera for real productions. Yes. Okay. I will be doing this screen share. Why can't I do it? Oh. Okay, so we got some. Hang on a second. Is it not gonna show me the here? So I gotta do this. DaVinci Resolve. And what we do is I'm gonna move this down to here. This Discord, I could hear you guys in the Discord. You guys are going crazy. But okay. So this is a couple some footage we got here. I don't know how quickly this is gonna play back, but this is the C50 Blazar Remus lens. I'm gonna go into here. And I got like screen grabs and stuff onto here as well. And I'm trying to like see underneath my light. So let me just show you what this all looks like off. So I have my own LUTs into here. So I kind of made, this is my V4 LUT. So this is like an Arilog C LUT that I made for my Lumix cameras. And what I did was, so that's onto there. And then I had my color space transformed to convert that C-Log to make it for the Arilog C, because that LUT is based on Arilog C. Did a little bit of glow just to soften up the image. It's a little sharp, but like it's a little clinical. A little bit of curves. I did some HDR just to bring the sky back, see if I could, and you can. Like like this transition here, I wonder if I could I full screen this? Like that doesn't have a lot of banding in it, but then again, like it's not the sun.
Yeah, it's done.
So there's that. So that looks pretty good. And then I think I just like changed, I brought a bit of the shadows up on here, but that's one of the images. So this guy, like honestly, this kind of looks, it looks a little like the ZR in a couple of ways, because like it's raw, it's sharp, it's still a little bit on the clinical side. This is on a Blazar lens. The Blazar lens is not super, super sharp. But this looks really nice. It has like a little pop to it. But if you're someone who's familiar with like Canon cameras, man, like that's gonna be something you're used to. And then I think I got something else on here as well. Now the hard part here, which is kind of hard to figure out, I don't know if it's playing weirdly.
Have a look down.
That looks a little bit choppy on here, but the IBIS definitely will create problems. Oh, I should mute the video playback. Okay, sure. Hang on 1 second. Video is loud. Sorry, my bad. Let me try to go in this. So that's on an autofocus lens. Max Millie, I got you. I'll put it up here. Is that better? AKA Skim Shorty. Rob, you're wild. That's my fault. I just tweeted Discord. That's fine. Are Sony's more accepted than Nikon? Maybe ZR will change this. Yes, because there hasn't been a Sony FX3 Nikon version ever, or an FX6 version either. I have a question. If shooting for social media, is it better to film 16:9 or use 9? Depends on what you're doing. If you need double deliverables. Okay, so this is. Oh my gosh. Okay, hang on 1 second. I'm so sorry. Okay, hang on 1 second. Hey, Terry's almost at 100K. Okay. So I'm gonna just kind of play some of this back. And like this looks pretty crisp. I didn't set my autofocus to fast, and Jordan's going pretty quickly. But like I guess this is what people mean by like color, like Canon colors, right? Like I didn't do much to this image in order to get it to get here. I could actually go through and have a look here. Also, fun's almost over. But if I go out here, I disable every single node. Again, I use my own LUT here. And then I got that dialed in, and then we went into color space transforming it for that RA LUT. We got a little bit of a glow. I like using glow as a node, and I set it to blend mode soft light. And then brought a little bit back in the shadows. And it's kind of cool because it kind of has like, it's nice and bright here and it kind of trails off. And that's not necessarily the lens. It's just kind of how it was edited. But that's before and that's after. And then also one of the things in OpenGate, and I think people don't know this, and it's going to be tough because I got to figure this out, but there's multiple different versions of OpenGate. So like, I guess, let me see if I can get to the, see if I can get to where I need to go. So H.265. So this is the 422. This is 422 OpenGate. Hang on a second. I screwed that up. So this is 7K 422 OpenGate. So if you're someone who wants to use OpenGate and you're kind of weary about that 420, like on the Lumix cameras, you don't have to shoot it in RAW. You can just use that. And then it actually has different bit rates. So that one's the highest one. So I think one of the arguments is that like this is 1730 megabits a second. I think this one's like 1300. And it's kind of hard to see in the live stream, but like that doesn't look blotchy or anything like that at all. Like it's not like when you drop down from the ZR, and then that is, I think this one's like 960 megabits a second or 860 or something like that. So lower bit rate than the other one. And then like truly, if you want to just shoot 420, save on space, but still shoot OpenGate, like this shot right here is about 150, I think, megabits more than the S12. And if no one had a problem with the S12, that's kind of what you're going to be looking at. So that's a super, super quick and dirty preview of how things are looking. Just use OpenGate. Yeah, that's fair. What are the use? Oh, sorry. I'm going to go back Did anyone else have more questions about this? Because this is I'm going to leave after this because it is almost time for bed. What uses or types of shoots you can't imagine for the ZR handling? Really considering, I think stuff with like teams where you need like SDI connections and stuff like that. That's going to be a bit of a problem. I think Tascam makes an XLR, so I think you're okay there. Anything super, super long, because the ZR's overheating threshold is very, very high. However, it's not unlimited. So that's something to consider. Oh, nice. You're still streaming. I saw one Komodo X talk in the chat. Did you miss it at all? I don't even think, like Fox, I'm going to be so real with you. I don't think about the Komodo X at all. But that's cool. I use other things. Trying things. Hey, what up? Did you still need an FX3 24-70 tomorrow morning? No, I'm okay. I'm going to pick one up from Vaughn, which means I also have to make a phone call as soon as I leave. But no, I'm good so far, man. Thanks. But worst case, I'll message you back. I saw your message, but I was here. What's your assessment on the C50 colors versus the Pixis 12K versus an Nikon ZR? I don't know yet. And the hardest part about this is I won't have the C50 and the ZR at the same time. Because I bring back the C50 next Friday, and I don't get the ZR till the following week after that. So maybe what I'll do tomorrow, just for fun, I'm going to bring my Pixis 12K to do some stuff beside the C50, just for fun. Bro, that's video. Let's talk about the different open gates. So my first impressions video is just about open gate. So I'm going to talk about the multiple compressions. I'm going to talk about shooting in Super 35 versus full frame. I'm also going to talk about the chunk mode where you can record in the 9x16 and 16x9 to 2 separate cards. I'll do a little bit of autofocus, body design, menus. One of my buddies at the rental shop got really excited, so I'll talk about that, and then kind of what to expect from the series of videos. Are you starting right now? Would you pick FX3 or ZR for better future proofing? Also, should I worry about issues with the ZR overheating from early videos? Seems fine. The Nikon ZR can overheat. The threshold by which you do that, though, from what I've seen at least, is incredibly high. I've seen people put it into incubators, ovens, the desert, leave it recording regularly. So it still can. I can't really say that you won't have overheating issues. I just think that the threshold by which it'll happen will be really high. I had a phone call with Justin Porter, who shoots weddings in Texas, and he said he got the warning, but the camera never shut off. And that was like the farthest he got. So take that information as you will, with a grain of salt. Yes, it does. Yeah, so it is limited times. I think you can set up to 2 minutes, but you can do it, which is nice because like an Instagram reel shouldn't be that long anyway. Like an Instagram reel can't be that long anyway. Can the ZR be used as an A cam? Yeah, sure. Depending on your use case, anything can be used. You can use an iPhone as an A cam if you think about it. I'm over here lurking, catching a view of the footage while still sitting in here editing. Yeah, which means I also got to go soon because I should be editing as well. But tomorrow I have a shoot at 1 o'clock. Gonna do some side-bys, and then I got to make sure I check off all the boxes in terms of what I need for this video on Friday. That crop and boost in the DR, the C50 is pretty amazing. I haven't tried it in a practical setting yet because I heard about it, so I will try it tomorrow. But if you're starting now, FX3 or ZR? Well, I mean, the ZR is half the price of an FX3. Bigger pictures, everything in mind. Again, the ZR is half the price, bro. Shaq, I'm doing okay. Hamstring's healing. I still can't get into a lunge position very well. Like it hurts. I don't know if it's gonna hurt anything, but it just hurts, and I don't know if I want to try that. My Aries assassin. How do you know? Do you know when I'm born? I'm a Taurus, but that was interesting. Okay, last couple questions here. I'm gonna go because I'm tired. Seeing all these cameras listed while I'm running here with a ZV-E10 Mark II and a ZV-E10 as a B cam, I'm running on cheap stuff. That ain't something to feel bad about. Get it how you live it, bro. Don't let any of this dissuade you from doing what you're doing. Hey, VN, have a good one, man. If you read this chat, it's the end of that. Night, Kofi, and night, chat. See you the next one. Honestly, I think I'm gonna call it a day too. Any VMAP battery work, or do you need high voltage ones? I think you'll be able to be fine with the regular V mounts, but I don't know. I don't have it set up, so I'll know. Those are solid cameras too, bro. Yeah, the ZV-10s are great. Hey, Taurus gang. Yeah, I'm born April 24th. We need an answer, Kofi. What do you mean? An answer for what? Would you still say the FX3 is still worth its price this many years later? If I do, I would be a liar. That's a hard thing. It's knowing what's available now, I would have probably made other choices, especially when the camera's $43.99. I can add. I'll put the Discord in one more time. No other way the FX. Yeah, $4,300 US is more than what I paid for when I bought it in 2021. Yeah, I get inflation and all the other stuff and tariffs and stuff, but like that's not my responsibility to be. Like if that's what the case is, that's not my fault. Nor I don't want to be financially responsible for that. So knowing what I know now, I would have probably made other choices if that was the case. Yeah, man, that it still has the FX30 sensor and it was really good. What's your Discord? Discord's on there. Discord's in the chat. If you guys are gonna jump in. It's crazy that people will pay. Yeah, it actually is very crazy that people will look at the FX33 at $4,300 and say, "Yep, I'll buy that." You think internally? I don't think the FX3 is in danger. I just think it's just too high a price based on what's out. And creators talking about it has seemed to anger a lot of people. But like, I could truthfully say like that feels like the most sensible thing. Like if everyone says, "Hey, I want to spend money," or "I don't want to spend money, I want to save money," I make a ton of money telling you to buy that $4,300 FX3. It actually financially benefits me more than you doing that. But it would feel disingenuous me telling you to pay for a camera that costs more money than when I bought it, when it came out 4 years ago. Chill and connect. I wouldn't even worry about that. If someone's gonna shame you for the camera if someone shames you for the camera that you're using, they're a loser. And don't associate with losers. Shaming over a camera is insane. Yeah, the FX3 is crazy to buy. Yeah, it's a hard sell. That's what I mean. It's a hard sell. It's like the RX1R. Great camera. It's almost $7,000 Canadian. I don't have that kind of money. I'm happy I went with my A7 IV. That is excellent. Okay, I do have to go. I have to get out of here. So thank you guys for coming to the stream. Thanks you guys for like coming to the unboxing, I should say. This video is going to take a little bit of time just because the C50 is the focus at the moment, but I'll get a couple of clips every now and again when I'm shooting. But tomorrow I got some stuff on the C50 and the FX3 that I'm going to try to get into tomorrow. And I'm also going to do some stuff for the I'm going to do some side-by-sides of the R5C and the C80 as well. So trying things. We will answer this in the next stream, but I don't have that. I've made more money shooting on my Nikon cameras than I did with film and Sony. Yep. All right. Okay. All right, guys. I gotta go. I could stay all night, but I want to go to bed. I haven't slept much. But our Vision Entertainment Agency. That is what we unboxed. We unboxed the Pixis 12K, Pixis monitor, Thypox Shimmer C's, Moment filter, and this aftermarket BPU battery I got on Amazon, and I don't know what the brand name is. Okay. I am now going. I'm going. I'm leaving. No, I'm going. Nope, stop. Nope, I'm going.